Open tabs, margin notes, highlighter, bleed through quotes, research minds, steady eye patterns only she can note. I-90 fog, whispering under wheels, skyline, afterglow, 2 states, packed rooms, quiet minds that know, no sign needed out front. They circle to her voice, questions rise before she starts, curiosity by choice. She pivots mid-lecture, checks who's leaning in close. Say the part you skip out loud, that's where the learning goes. Heads home with the speakers up, Biggie in the background, mind still mapping theories while the city slows down. She teaches the why behind the crime, the hurt behind the face, Philly in her backbone, psychology in her grace. Don't let the hype fool you, she stands 10 stories tall. She don't just teach the lesson, she teaches you through it all. Late nights with case files open, notes in the margin glow. She's showing you your story's roots, so you can choose where to go. Yeah. Biggie quotes inside the slides, right next to coping skills. Spread love between the lines of how a nervous system feels. Long days, quiet grit, humor in the punchlines. You are more than this moment, written 10 times, old assessments in a folder, ink dust on the sleeve. She can map anxious attachment before you know you grieve. 1 foot in Jersey lecture halls, 1 on the Philly street. Home is where she learned to fight, classes where we don't repeat. Grown kids texting check-ins, pride she doesn't post. She teaches minds all day, then goes in mother's most. Case files, true crime, mind behind the scenes. She doesn't tell you what they did, she shows you what it means. Your story is not your diagnosis. You are allowed to rewrite it.
Hi guys, happy Sunday. Well, yeah, it's still Sunday. It's 11:15 where I'm at. How's everyone doing? Come on in. Perfect timing, Casey. Who do we have here? We have A. Higgins. A. Higgins was here before I was. So, what's up, A. Higgins? Harlot's here. Yay. Who else is here? Irony. What's up, Irony? Jenny's here. Casey. Oh no, I don't see Cuff You. I wonder if Cuff You knows I'm live. Maybe Cuff You went to bed for once. I feel bad. That woman is like always working. What is up, you guys? A wise woman's here. Come on in. You guys, I have a good one for us tonight. Before we jump back into the case tomorrow, I thought it would be a good idea to give an example of someone who has had postpartum psychosis. So that's what we're going to do today. And I found a really cool interview. Sorry, my lighting's all messed up over here. There we go. Who cares? I found a really good interview on Criminally Obsessed. I don't know if you guys know that channel, but if not, we're going to introduce you to it tonight. And she was able to find a woman who very bravely tells us about her experience with postpartum psychosis. Okay, not postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis. What is up, Birdie? Birdie's here. Charlotte, North. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, guys, tell me where you're tuning in from. I would love to hear it. We have Charlotte in the house. You messaged Sirius. You're not sure if she saw it. I think I just posted it on Discord. So what happened was, I thought I hit post on my, you know, like when you put it together, the whole live stream. Well, I had it up there for 11, and I was about to go live, and it was like 10:58. So I'm like getting all ready, and I was like putting it up on my phone, and I'm like, where is it? So I couldn't find it, and I realized that it told me I went 2 characters over on my description, so it never posted it. So I had to erase 2 spaces. So that's why I made it for 11:10, because I had to give myself, if not, I would have just like went live in that moment. It's just a mess. There's always something over here, you guys. So why everybody's coming in, because this all literally is last minute. Let me tell you a few things. So one, I've been jumping up on YouTube streets every now and then, right? Irony, have you been on when I'll jump up every now and then. So, you know, whether we're talking about Mackenzie, Shirla, or now they're starting to talk about this case too. So I thought that was pretty interesting that we're like into the same things. I thought that was pretty cool. But I was able to jump up and help discuss some of the psychology part. They are great over there. So if you are not subscribed to YouTube Streets, or, you know, them as a group or them individually, please go do so. I hope Krupp comes in here tonight. If somebody sees Krupp, will you please flag me? Because I need to make sure he's not mad at me. So what happened was, we were on the live last night and we were all joking, and I made a joke about where he was, and I don't know that he's mad. I don't even know that he heard me. He just happened to disconnect all at the same time, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh God. But anyway, I just want to make sure that he knew I was just joking and that he could come back with me with jokes too. I can handle it. So wait, let's see. What do we have in here? We have North Jersey. Nice. Okay. We have St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, Casey. We have Queens. I don't think I knew you were from Queens, Birdie. Awesome. That's awesome. Yep, that's where I seen you at. I try to catch when I can, and you're not working, says Irony. Nah, Krupp wouldn't be mad. Okay, so let me tell you, Irony, if you know him a little bit. I don't even know how it came up, but we were talking about the past, and he was dead laughing, and he was telling the story, and somebody, I don't know if it was, somebody asked him if he snorted Remeron or something like that growing up, and he was laughing. He's like, oh, I'm sure I did, da, da. So we're all making jokes. Well, fast forward 45 minutes and a whole lot of trauma talk, and it gets quiet for a second, which I later realized that they thought they were playing a video and it wasn't up there. So I was like, okay, let me break the silence real quick with a joke. And I was like, because Krupp hadn't talked in forever at that point, and I was like, yo, Krupp, where'd you go? I was like, what are you snorting, Effexor or whatever it was we were talking about? But he happened to disconnect from the live at the same time. So I was like, ugh. And again, I hope he knows I was just joking. And I said it on the live. I was like, you guys, I'm so just joking. And I don't know, he might not have even heard it, but I was like, I'm just mortified. I just want to make sure that he knows that he can joke about me too, and that it was just all love and fun. Ivy, thank you so much. Ivy already started us out with 30 joules, you guys. Come on, Ivy. Thank you. You are amazing. Irony, it was pretty fucking funny. It got quiet, and I'm like, oh no, I need to when it gets quiet and you feel the need to, and I'm like, yo, Krupp, where'd you go? I was like, you go snort some Effexor, and we all started laughing, but I was like, he didn't laugh, and then he disconnected, and I was like, oh my God. So now I'm because I love him. I think he's amazing. So I just didn't want, I wanted him to know that it was just jokes. I'm sure he knows always jokes are, that's what I mean. So that's what I mean. He's a jokester. So I was like, I can hold my own. So I threw a joke out there, and I didn't realize that. I don't know. So hopefully he's cool. Hopefully he'll come back with something for me next or whatever, because I so can handle it. Patty says, Jersey Shore. Patty, you don't have to tell us which Jersey Shore. There's many Jersey Shores. I mean, I don't know that it matter, but are you Jersey Shore, Ocean City, Wildwood Jersey Shore, or are you Long Beach Island Jersey Shore? Ella's in the house. Hi, Ella. Thank you, Ella. That was so very kind of you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Someone just came in. Who just came in? I feel like I just missed somebody. If I did, I do apologize. Ella, maybe it was you. You came in with jewels. Before you even said hello, you're like, let me drop some jewels. I appreciate you. Casey, thank you. Oh, Casey gave me my first happy boot. You guys are great. I love you. Jenny, it's alright. I can't type either. No big deal. Jenny, when I put on those fakely pressing nails or whatever, oh my gosh, I send the worst text messages because they just don't make any sense because I all of a sudden can't type. You're close to long. Okay, so that's what I meant. So I was like, you don't have to give me like your direct location, but I didn't know because I'm like somewhere in the middle, so I would have to go north or south, depending. So I would have to go north there. I'm going to the shore points, if you will, tomorrow. My best friend, I ask her all the time to go, and we're always like, oh yeah, we'll do it next week, we'll do it next week. And then finally I was like, cuz if we don't do it, it's over. Like, we're done. So I'm putting off I was thinking about like taking a ride to Boston area to go to see if I get into the trial for a day or so, but I figured I'm going to put it off. I just want to see. I wasn't able to find out how it worked as far as getting in. I didn't want to drive, 5 hours there and 5 hours home to get there and realize. And that was actually Harlot was like, slow down, cuz, like, why don't we see if you could get in first? And I'm like, this is why I need you guys. So I'll put out my crazy ideas in Discord, and then my group of, I don't even want to say women because it could be anybody, but my group of friends there will like give me their feedback, and I live for that. I was supposed to be leaving with my kids to Wildwood in the morning, and I can't go now last minute. It's my favorite place. We could have met up because that's where I'm going. Aww. That would have been awesome. I so would have like met on the boardwalk or something. Please, I've already met one of our friends. It didn't turn out the way I thought it would, but that's a story for a different day, right, Harlot? But let me start sharing my screen. Let's get into this. So today we are going to be introduced. Well, first of all, make sure everybody goes over, and Harlot, usually hope Cuff you is just asleep or something. Like, I hope she's okay. I'm sure she's okay. But usually she'll like throw the link in the chat. I know you do too. Would you do me that huge favor? I do appreciate it. What just happened? Let's see. Someone just gave me, Ivy just gifted me 30 more jewels. Ivy, thank you, Queen. You are so appreciated. I can't even tell you. Thank you, Harlot. Birdie says too early in the summer, Casey. They should at least wait until the end of August when the kids go back to school. Okay, Casey said your pools are only open for 3 more days? What? I would be there all 3 days, from morning till night. I so would. That's ridiculous. I agree with Birdie. Why are they closing it already? Oh my God. That's unbelievable. That's bullshit. And I'm sure you pay a pretty penny to be part of it. Right? That's crazy. They should wait for that a little bit longer. So tonight, you guys, we're going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to react to an interview from Criminally Obsessed with a woman named Katherine Myers, who says she personally experienced postpartum psychosis. And I want to be like clear from the beginning about what tonight's going to be, what it's not going to be. You know how I always do. There's no diagnosing, da 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 da. We're going to listen. We're going to learn from this woman's experience. I thought this was great. Before tomorrow's going back to court and seeing the testimony, I believe it's going to be Jennifer Dr. Tufts again on the stand, which I look forward to watching, and then her cross-examination as well should be tomorrow too. So tonight we are going to look at what this woman's experience with postpartum psychosis is. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that this woman, I'm showing you this because this is definitely what, Lindsay Clancy has. I do think that we're seeing signs of this, but of course we have to wait for the experts to come up and testify to it. But I did want to give us an idea of what it might look like, so that if and when the time does come, we can be like, oh, wait a minute. Even, for example, how we see how it progressively gets worse over time. If we get somebody's experience and we can understand where they're coming from, I think that can really help us. So that is my goal for tonight. What this woman's experience, obviously it can't diagnose another woman's experience, but what Katherine can do is give us something that the court records and diagnostic manuals cannot give us quite the same way. I put the technical word instead of just their experience. I put the technical word. Anyway, I'm laughing at myself because, anyway. So what did this actually feel like for this woman? I want you guys to think of, what did she hear? What did she see? How did she explain those experiences to herself? Because we're going to see, right? She probably rationalizes this at first, like, I'm hearing things or I'm seeing things. So we're going to hear that. Could she function is going to be a big one. Did she know she was psychotic? Did the people around her, did they know she was psychotic? Did her friends know? Her closest family? Because those are exactly the questions that everybody keeps talking about when we talk about the Lindsay Clancy case. And Katherine says some things in this interview that I think are going to make people rethink some simplistic assumptions about psychosis. So tonight we're going to watch. I'm going to stop it. We're going to talk about psychology, and most importantly, we're going to keep separating what Katherine experienced from what can actually be established about the Lindsay Clancy case, because they're not the same thing. All right, so let's start, you guys. And I think I know tonight what I need to do so that this sound is okay. So fingers crossed. Hopefully I got this. Well, let's get started. I'm sure you guys will let me know. Make sure you go over and you like and subscribe. I appreciate you, and let's get started.
Tracking myself because now I'm worried. Did I feed my baby? Did I take care of it? Did I change his diaper, or did I imagine it?
What does postpartum psychosis actually feel like? Not what the lawyers say or the experts say. What does it feel like to the woman living it? That's what you're about to hear, because the jury in the Lindsay Clancy trial never will. The judge decided to keep women from testifying about their own personal experience with postpartum psychosis.
I see his face just start to shift, like he was aging rapidly into like an old man.
This woman, she started hearing voices, seeing shadows that look like her husband.
I'm having a conversation out loud to what? I don't know. To what I'm for. Voices. I'm here. And now they're responding to me.
She says she was quickly losing her grip on reality.
I didn't know about postpartum psychosis until my psych told me.
Now, you guys, before we go any further, were you all able to hear all of that? And were you able to hear it okay? Was there any, I know that some people don't like if I do that, but I would rather figure it out now than somebody tell me in an hour that that whole time it was muted and you guys didn't hear anything, or that it was echoing or something. So please let me know if you can. I do appreciate you. The other thing I want to say is she talks about how the defense attorney, a lot of people call him Big Red, how Red was asked if they could have a few women go up there and testify about their experiences on the stand, and the judge denied that. And I think that that's important, and I'm wondering for you guys if that's going to be important. You might not know now, but towards the end of this, I'm wondering to hear if this was helpful for you, because if it was helpful for you and I, then, it sounds really good. Oh, awesome, wise woman. Thank you. Wise woman or Casey or anybody else, in case I don't remember in the future, I muted my microphone and I muted the live stream. So the stream labs. So that's what I muted, both things. There you go. All right. So let's keep going, but I do want you guys to, think about it. Would this have been helpful? And again, you might not know this now because we didn't watch it yet, but at the end, I want to ask everyone, would this have been helpful if you were a juror and you were able to hear someone else's experience?
you're starting postpartum psychosis. I had never heard about it.
Katherine never told her friends. She never told her family. She didn't even tell her husband everything until now. She said maybe one of the most important conversation who survived postpartum psychosis and lived to tell us how she escaped her nightmare. It's a perspective the jury in the Lindsay Clancy trial will never get to hear. Lindsay Clancy is accused in the deaths of her 3 young children in January 2023. In their opening statement, her defense said she was suffering from postpartum psychosis, that she was insane under the law and lacked criminal.
Up to the time of their death.
The prosecution told jurors, hogwash.
The evidence will show you she was not psychotic that day. Somebody extremely controlling, meticulous, and manipulative.
But listen to Katherine. For her, the illness kept getting worse.
But then once it started escalating to now I'm seeing figures walk by me regularly. And I was fine with it because I was like, this is just my life now.
My producer found Katherine after she shared her story on Facebook. And what happened next surprised me. Thousands of women responded to her post. They wrote that they'd heard voices too. They'd seen the shadows. They'd been terrified. Postpartum psychosis, or you believe she was a murderer. I'm not asking you to change your mind about Lindsay Clancy. And neither is my guest today. We're just asking you to listen because Katherine Myers is about to take us to a place.
Please like and subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't already. It really does mean a lot to me, and it helps me further reach other people that need to learn about this and that need to know that they don't need to be ashamed, and that there's people out there who will listen to them and who will support them. So this section here in the beginning introduces Katherine and her experience, right? So they show us some clips questioning whether she fed or changed her baby, if she was hearing the voices, seeing visual distortions, and losing confidence in her own perception of reality. So I want you to listen for one line. She's going to say, did I do that or did I imagine it? So this isn't just anxiety, you guys. This isn't, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, Mom. Like talking to your mom, I'm so tired. I forgot to change the baby. The baby's been in their their dirty diaper for 2 hours, whatever it is. People have those moments because they're tired. They missed something. They slept through the baby crying when the baby woke up. I mean, there's so many stories that people hear. But this woman here, she's describing something different. This is a more fundamental problem. She's losing confidence in her own ability to distinguish memory, perception, and reality. And that is important because when we talk about psychosis online, people tend to imagine the most extreme stereotype. So we think of someone who's completely disorganized, who's talking to people who aren't there, who's unable to function, who's obviously detached from reality. But what we're going to see with Katherine and other people with postpartum psychosis, that what they're describing is much more psychologically complicated. So she's still trying to figure out reality. Her brain is still going, okay, something happened, but I don't know what the explanation is. So that's going to become a major theme in this interview.
Let's get into it. This trial is hard for you to watch, that you don't necessarily support Lindsay Clancy, your story about going through
Things that are not aware that this could happen to your friend, this could happen to yourself, this could happen to your partner, and that it is not the same as postpartum depression. It is a medical emergency. It is not the same, and need to be aware about it. And I think that men need to be aware about it because, like I said, my husband was the only one that I was talking to about this. And I think that the more educated that men and women can be, that we can prevent women from having the shame and the stigma of mental health and accepting help. And the sooner we can get them to admit what's going on, the sooner we can get them to safety.
I have to say, it was so brave for you to talk about it because of all the baggage that comes along with it. So I just want to share your story, but also what it could mean for other women who may have experienced this and honestly had no clue this was what they were going through. Putting this into perspective, Katherine, your experience with postpartum psychosis with what's going on right now in the Lindsay Clancy trial. Having said that, this part of it is not about Lindsay Clancy. This is about building context. Am I right?
Yes.
And, why did you what was the impetus?
Just because I don't want to, play her entire video. That would be like, I don't know. I feel bad doing that. And it gives people a reason to go over there if they want. Ask her why she wants to do this, and for obvious reason. She's watching this trial. She hears people confusing, postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. I think another thing that helps this woman tell her story is that she's now years removed from it. So she has 4 beautiful children. She doesn't go on to harm her children. She is able to get the help that she needs. And I think her story provides not only an experience that we can, that can help us understand some of the things that we may hear in the next days and weeks in trial, but she has the courage because she's through this now, right? So she's past this. Her kids, it's been years removed, to be honest. One of the big things here is shame. So here we go. So next we're going to hear how Katherine explains how she was functional. Wait, let's see. Is this it?
The condition I was aware existed. It was not something that I was familiar with. And I just think that the more educated women can be, especially on mental health and postpartum health, the better that they can be set up for that part of it.
Let's put it into context for the Lindsay Clancy trial. We're going to be watching this for the next 6 weeks. What do you think people need to understand about postpartum psychosis going into a trial like this?
That it is such an altered state of mind that you are not aware of what your reality is. You are not aware of what is not real, what is real. It comes on quickly. It can come and go with everybody. It's not just like, oh, Katherine's was like this, so everyone's must be like this. It's varies from person to person, and it is such a terrifying experience.
And tell me a little
that I want to make sure that we remember that not everyone's experience, whether we're talking about psychosis, depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, no matter what it is we're talking about, we have that Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. We're on the 5th edition text revision. That is used as a tool to give us a guidebook, if you will, to help for diagnosis. However, there's nuance in this. Everybody's experience will differ a little bit, but you'll see commonalities, which makes it similar. But you will see some differences, and that's normal.
I have twins. I have a stepson. I have a 5-year-old son that is just the light of my life. He has level 3 autism, and he is just the absolute joy of our family. I'm a hairstylist. My husband is a financial advisor. We have a pretty normal life, I would say. As at the time of my postpartum psychosis, I was soccer mom, basketball mom, twin mom, like newborn mom, vice president of the PTO. I volunteer random organizations when I can. I was hairstylist at the time at a salon.
A full
You
life.
would never have known. You would never have suspected it. Most of my friends and family, when I'm talking to them about it now, had no idea. My husband was the only one that knew, because it was such a level of like shame, especially when you are trying to appear and present yourself as, I've got it. I've got this under control. Look at me. I've got 4 kids. Like, I've got a newborn. It's great. Like, I can do everything. No one wants to say, hey guys, I'm actually hearing voices and seeing people in my house that aren't really there. Like, that's such a hard thing to say.
Katherine,
Okay, so I wanted to stop there real quick, you guys. So Katherine explains that she's speaking publicly, distinguishes postpartum psychosis from postpartum depression. She calls it a medical emergency, which I totally agree with. Why is it a medical emergency? Because it's not something that you could say like, oh, I've been having, I don't know, I've been having a bunch of headaches, and it hurts and whatever, and I can't get an appointment for 2 weeks or so with a neurologist. This is like, for many people, they may need a form of inpatient care at this moment, not this whole time, but it's a medical emergency in the sense that when the woman loses reality, if they are diagnosed with this disorder, that could pose many problems for herself and for those around her, unfortunately. But also keep in mind, you guys, when it comes to mental illness, almost all the time, people with mental illness are the victims of these things. So let's keep in mind that this is so rare. However, it happens. So I think we need to remember that. I also think, how interesting is it that she describes herself as not only highly functional, but she was the PTO president. How much more involved can you get than being the PTO president? She was also worked at the time. She volunteered. She was able to keep up with sports, like the kids' sports and stuff, and her household responsibilities. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to react to this interview. Listen to the life she's describing, you guys. 4 kids, PTO, volunteering, sports, household, newborn. She looks like somebody who's managing life, in my opinion. And meanwhile, according to her account, she's beginning to experience psychotic symptoms. So functioning is not the same as mental wellness. Let's all burn that into our brains. Okay, I'll say it again. Functioning is not the same thing as being mentally well. A person can complete tasks while psychologically deteriorating. A person can parent while being depressed. A person can work while wanting to take their own life. A person can attend appointments while being delusional. A person can cook dinner while experiencing hallucinations. Human functioning does not disappear in one giant dramatic explosion every time someone develops serious mental illness. And this is relevant to the Lindsay discussion, in my opinion, because one argument we keep hearing is, but she was functioning. Okay, well, that matters, but it's not the end of the analysis, because functioning answers one question: could she perform certain behaviors? That doesn't automatically answer what's happening internally while she's performing these things, right? So this is a very different question. So let's keep going.
and tell me what happened. Take me back to, I guess, September 2020. We're in the throes of COVID, and you're having a baby.
It sucked. It was hard. I got pregnant in January of 2020. So I spent my whole last pregnancy just in isolation and lockdown and everything. And I was so excited to have my son. My husband and I, it was our first child together. We were great. We had our baby in the middle of September, and he was great. He slept perfect. He ate perfect. He was so sweet. He was cuddly. Like, he was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with him. It was great. And I was getting sleep. I was getting like 8 to 12 hours of sleep a night. I was getting naps during the day. Yeah, it was amazing. It was perfect.
Yeah, I definitely did not get that. So that's
no,
amazing.
I didn't get it other times either. Like, I didn't get it with my twins at all. So I was like, this is heaven. Like, I can't wait. this is the best. And I was at home. It was probably about a month or so after I had my son, and I was home alone. My husband was at the office. My big kids were at school. It was just me and my dogs and the baby. And I heard a male voice, and I remember thinking like, oh, maybe my husband's home for lunch. You know, maybe that's what it is. And I looked and I didn't see him. And I was like, okay. And that happened a few more times. And then I started calling my husband when I would hear the voice. And the voice would say like, hey, honey, or like just like a friendly kind of voice. And I would call my husband and I would say, hey, babe, are you in the house? And he would say, no, I'm at the office. What's up? And I would, okay, that's fine. Maybe it's the TV. So then I started, you know, maybe I'll just turn the TV off. Then it started, I'm seeing shadows out of the corner of my eye. I'm seeing that you can tell are a person. Like if somebody were to walk by the side of this room right now, I wouldn't see them, but I would know, oh, that's my husband. Oh, that's my dog. Oh, that's my child. And you would know who it was. And it was an adult man. And I'm then thinking it has to be my husband. So then I start, you know, clearly this is in my head. Something's like, maybe I'm watching too much TV, sitting on the couch, you know, breastfeeding my kid. I don't know. I start locking the door then obsessively. I start unplugging baby monitors because I'm hearing voices. I'm thinking maybe it's one of those weird things where you're picking up the neighbor's baby monitor. I don't know. I'm unplugging.
Okay, just for the sake of, I don't want a copyright strike, I have to pause it every now and then. So, excuse me. You guys, this is probably the most important part psychologically. So, because what it does do, what does she do when she hears voices? She doesn't immediately say, I'm hallucinating, right? So her first response is, maybe my husband's home. When that explanation fails, she's like, maybe it's the TV. That fails, she's like, maybe the baby monitor. Maybe electronics are picking up some signal. Maybe, you know, what do you do then? You start to unplug things, right? You're like, okay, well, if my husband's still at work and the TV's off, maybe it's this, maybe it's, you know, start unplugging things. You're not automatically going to be like, I'm psychotic. Do you know what I mean? So we have to keep that in mind too. So think about what her brain's doing. She's experiencing something abnormal and constructing increasingly elaborate normal explanations for it, just like you or I would probably do. This is fascinating because from inside her reality, she has sensory evidence. She's hearing something. Her brain says sound has a source. Find the source. That's exactly why psychotic experiences can be so convincing, you guys. And Katherine describes the voice as something she felt she was actually hearing in her ears. So it wasn't something like when we think of, you know, our dad's voice or something. It wasn't that. She was hearing it. So, you know, she's describing the sensory experience that she's having. Do you know what I mean? Yes, Case, if that's okay with you. So the other thing I want to say here too is a hallucination is not the same thing as an imagination. If I tell you, imagine like I just said, you guys, in my notes, I wrote, imagine hearing your mom's voice, and I just said out loud, imagine hearing your dad's voice. That's funny. So you would know that you generated that mentally. So again, if I said, imagine one of your parents' voices or a loved one, you're imagining it. So you know that you're imagining it. Katherine, what she's describing is something different. She's experiencing something that her brain codes as incoming sensory information. So would you guys have recognized that as psychotic? I don't know that I would have. I know that I wouldn't have. You wouldn't just, you know, you might even say something like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm hearing things. But you're not instantly going to be like, that's it. I have psychosis. So I think that that's important. Also, I want you guys to remember, if you do the research has shown that when somebody with, and just for example, from the most recent of the research that I read, they were doing research on schizophrenia, and they were looking at auditory and visual hallucinations. And what they found was when the person with schizophrenia reported having a hallucination, their brain pretty much validated it and verified it and was like, yeah, you are. So if we had picture like all those electrodes on the head or one of those caps that they're measuring your brain activity, and our brain only responds. Let's say when we see something, they put something on the screen, our brain will respond if we see it. They put something in the speakers, our brain responds that we hear that. With the person hallucinating, the brain was responding to sensation, and even in what we considered, I almost said in the absence of that sensation. So their brains were perceiving sensations that you or I did not perceive. So it was something specific to them. The other thing I thought was interesting here is that she said it was a man's voice. That's what reportedly or allegedly we hear with the Clancy trial. So if you guys heard what sounded exactly like somebody walking through your front door, would your first thought be, my brain generated an auditory hallucination? I mean, for me, it wouldn't. Your first thought would probably be, someone's home, someone opened the door. That's what makes this so complicated. All right, let's keep going.
Around sound speakers. I'm taking batteries out of toys. I'm
Anything.
doing this anything. I'm like, okay, so there's no electronics at all.
I want to ask you about that voice at first. What did the voice sound like? Just so that we can get it clear. It is the creepiest thing. Honestly, this is like the American Horror Story. I mean, this is absolutely terrifying to me.
Yeah.
But tell me, Katherine, what did that voice sound like? Like, can you describe it?
It sounded like similar to my husband, but it was like not my husband. So it was like kind of when you're in a dream and you have your husband and your kids and your mom and dad in your dream, but they look different. But in your dream, you know that that's my kids and that's my husband, but they looked differently. And that's like one of the best ways that I can describe what these visuals and like misperceptions were like is, it's familiar, it's something, but it looks differently. But it's like your mind's telling you it's okay. Like, it's safe. Like, I thought it was my husband's voice for a long time.
And you said it was like vibrating almost, like you could feel, and that's what I was trying to, what was that described to me? Like, you could feel that voice in your head.
Yeah. So when I thought of voices, people hearing voices, people in psychosis hearing things, voices telling them to do stuff, whatever, I'm thinking, oh, that's just going to be like an internalized voice, an inner voice, thoughts in your head, racing thoughts. No, it's like an actual voice that you can feel, like the vibrations in your ears, like just like this conversation. It feels, you hear it with your ears. I thought it would be like just with your brain, just inside your head. No, you're hearing it actually with your ears, and it makes everything in your body and your brain is telling you that's a sound. Like, that's not a thought, that's a sound. And I never would have thought that that's what psychosis voices would feel like, or when people say that they're hearing voices or anything. I thought it was thoughts. It's very real, actual sounds, physical sounds.
So you're literally unplugging things from your house because you're like, this is a real sound. Obviously, something's coming through some of my devices, right? So let's pick it up there. Like, what happened at that point when you're unplugging things? And this is like a month, like, right? So
so we're like a month or so in, and it's getting into the holiday season. My kids have sports. I'm just trying to pass off stuff as like, maybe I'm stressed out and I'm hearing stuff. Then I'm like unplugging everything, and I'm noticing this is kind of weird behavior because I was calling my husband regularly. Are you in the house? Are you at home? Did you just come in the house? Like, I would be upstairs in the nursery and I would hear like very clearly the front door open and close very clearly. And there's no one else here. The front door is locked twice. And my husband is like, at this point, he's like thinking I'm just being like more and like postpartum anxiety almost, or postpartum, just a new mom. But I was like, honey, I'm hearing this. I'm hearing you come in. I'm hearing people open my front door, close it. And I started to just, I guess, get used to it. And I was hearing voices. And one time the voice that I heard was a man, and he said, hey. And I said, hello. And he said, how are you doing? And that scared me because I'd never like talked to them. But it responded.
You were talking back, like y'all were having a conversation.
Yeah. I'm having a conversation out loud to what? I don't know. To what I'm hearing as people, thoughts, like not thoughts. I'm hearing voices. I'm here, and now they're responding to me. And then I started to really lose it when I one time vividly remember this. I was sitting on the couch with my baby. And he looked like he was going to sleep. So I picked him up, walked across the room, put him in his swing for him to sleep. he didn't fall asleep. So I got up. This is the middle of the day, the Netflix or something, and eating lunch. I'm wide awake. I go and pick him up from the swing and bring him back and sit him down next to me because he was just awake. So I'm like, I might as well just, have him sitting next to me. And then I hear crying from behind the couch. And I'm like, what the hell's that? And I look behind the couch and it's my baby on the floor behind the couch, next to the swing. He wasn't like stuffed behind the couch or anything. He was on the floor next to the swing. And I look next to me on the couch. He's not there. He's behind. It took me a minute to be like, is this my baby? Am I really seeing my baby? And that scared me because I was like, okay, now I'm trying to figure out if this is really my baby or not. Now I'm trying to figure out how did the baby get there? How long did the baby get there? I start like checking my phone for like, did I fall asleep? Like I'm looking at my watch, like did something happen? I mean, he's a month old. He's not crawling away. He's probably 2 months old at this time. And
Real quick, you guys, I want you to keep in mind something I just noticed here. Do you notice how she's like, now he was next to the swing. He wasn't like, he was only a month old. He was only like a month or two old. Like he wasn't going to be moving. That shows me right here that even with all of the support this woman has, all of the courage she had to come forward with her story, all of those things, she's still in this moment is probably thinking, oh shit, what if other people hear that? Like, what does that make me sound like? Like, I need people to know that he was like only a month old. He wasn't able to crawl. Like, he wasn't going to walk away. He was okay. It was just, but do you guys see that happening here? And that's sad. So just the fact that even after coming through this on the other side, just that notion of, am I going to get judged even further with this story? So let's finish this clip, and then I have some notes for this.
The floor crying. And I vividly remember picking him up, feeling him, bringing him, sitting him next to me on the couch, sitting there and just innocently watching TV. And he's on the floor. I don't understand. So then I started obsessively tracking myself because that panicked me. Because again, I want to be a stable, mom. I don't want my husband to have to worry. He's busy at work. He's got clients. He's got business trips. My kids have school. My friends and family, again, height of COVID, nobody's checking on each other like we can now. And so I don't want to worry anybody. So I'm like, okay, I've got this. I can handle this. I start obsessively writing sticky notes all over my house, like fed Joey at 2 p.m., switch the laundry at 3 o'clock, don't forget, pick up kids at 4 p.m. So I could kind of like see, okay, I'm sticking them on the fridge, on the front door, on the wall, in my room, on the mirrors, like it's everywhere. Like I was some kind of literally felt like I had dementia or something. And I'm tracking myself because now I'm worried. Did I feed my baby? Did I take care of it? Did I change his diaper or did I imagine it? Because now I'm thinking he's next to me on the couch. He's behind me on the floor. Yeah. And so I started obsessively checking myself and tracking myself with notes and everything. And that carried on. That literally just stopped within the last year or so.
Wow.
That was a behavior that became kind of like an obsession because I was so afraid.
So you're a couple months into it. Have you been able to talk to anybody about this? Confide what's happening besides, or are you telling your husband what's going on?
I'm telling my husband, kind of like a PG version of it. I did not tell him about, leaving the baby on the floor, have somehow the baby being on the floor. So when I made that post on Facebook last week, I texted him at work and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm going to make this postpartum post and the psychosis post, and it might be hard for you to read. So I just want you to be aware that. And he said, that's okay, great. Thank you for telling me. And he's the most supportive man. He's absolutely amazing. I would not be able to do this without him. But even I was, it's okay. And I'm not afraid, but I think he could see the panic and hear the panic in my voice. But as far as anybody else, my friends didn't know. And I have very close friends. We talk all day long. I think that it was I don't know if there was a shame behind it, or if, I also just assumed it's COVID. Everyone's busy. Everyone's got their own stuff going on. I'm seeing stuff and hearing things. I felt like maybe people would either tell me, you sound crazy, or that they would say, maybe you go take a nap and just take a shower and just do some
So how often do we hear that, you guys? Like, oh, just go take a nap. Like, you're just tired. You know, you have 4 kids. It's a baby. Go take a nap. You'll be all right. And she just tells us there about the shame that she felt. And that's sad. And that's what we need to talk about this more, so that when somebody does go through it, that they, you know, I don't want to say that they're not going to feel shame, because that would just be invalidating someone's feelings. So I'm not saying that, but by letting people know that there are 100% people out there that will support them, believe them, not deem them, you know, crazy or what, you know, the things, everything that we're afraid of, by coming forward. That way people could get the help that they need in a timely manner. So real quick, you guys, this section like stopped me in my tracks, because now we're beyond I heard a strange sound. Here, she just described a breakdown in trust in her own memory and perception. Think about that. You have trust that what you're seeing is real until you don't anymore. You have trust in hearing, you know, what I heard. I know I heard that. You don't trust your own reality anymore. That has to be horrifying, in my opinion. She remembers doing something, then physically reality appears inconsistent with that memory. Try to imagine yourself in that situation and look at her response. She becomes more organized. Sticky notes, schedules, tracking, feed the baby at this time, do the laundry at this time, pick up the kids at this time. This is psychologically fascinating, because if you were watching her from the outside, what might you say? She's incredibly organized. She's meticulous. She tracks everything. She clearly knows what's happening. But according to Katherine, the reason she becomes so organized is exactly the opposite. She's organizing the outside world because she no longer trusts the inside world. Sometimes organization is evidence of control. Sometimes organization is compensation for feeling like you're losing control. Same behavior, different psychological meaning. Now, before anyone runs 10 miles ahead of me, I'm not saying Lindsay Clancy schedules or her planning had that same meaning. We do not know, or we're not going to borrow, let's say, Katherine's explanation and paste it onto Lindsay. That wouldn't be fair. But Katherine's story proves something more basic, that you cannot look at a behavior and assume it's psychologically. You can't look at a behavior and assume psychological motive comes attached. Behavior has to be interpreted in context. And that was that whole nuance thing that I was talking about before. Also, Katherine says that she told her husband only a few times and a very limited version of what was actually happening, while friends and family had no idea at all. She discussed shame, embarrassment, fear of appearing unable to handle motherhood. Think about that. Think about that. The fear of appearing, so not the fear of not being able to handle motherhood, but the fear of appearing to be unable of handling motherhood. And then eventually normalizing the voices and the shadows. She later described seeing her baby face appear to be rapidly aging and transforming. Wait till we get to that part. So let's remember here, there's 2 big things in that little part that I just said. One, concealment. People keep asking in cases involving serious mental illness, if this was really happening, why didn't anybody know? Well, let's listen to Katherine. She intentionally minimized what she told people. Even her husband didn't initially know the entire story. Her close friends never knew. Why? Because she was ashamed. She wanted to look confident. She wanted to be the mom who had it together. Can we blame her? That's not unusual in mental health. People mask all the time. People minimize. People conceal. People explain symptoms away every day. Again, we need to be careful. That tells us that it's possible for someone to hide symptoms. It doesn't prove Lindsay hid her psychosis. Those sentences are very different. The second point is Katherine says something chilling to me. Over time, seeing shadows started to feel normal. She pretty much just rearranged her reality as this is just my life now. Like, what? That's how human adaptation works, you guys. The brain normalizes repeated experiences. So something can begin as, what the fuck was that? And eventually become, it's happening again. That doesn't mean that the perception became objectively real. It just means that it became subjectively familiar. Then the baby's face, let's get to this. When that changes, this is the moment Katherine says scared her differently than the other times, because now an altered perception involved her baby. And this is where she can see that you can see her insight fluctuating. She knows something's very wrong, but she's still experiencing the distorted perception.
Self-care and whatnot. I think I was just embarrassed that I was slowly losing control of myself, because I don't want to portray myself like that. I don't want to portray myself as I don't have this together. I don't, again, I'm PTO vice president. I've got 4 kids. I'm a mostly stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to have people
this
thinking,
problem.
I didn't want to have this problem. Exactly.
No.
I didn't want, this is not my life. This is not the life that I want. This is not me.
No. And I mean, it must have been so hard, Katherine, to go through this by yourself. I mean, and not know what was happening to you.
Yeah. I thought it was just like, I was making excuses for it. I was like, oh, you're hearing stuff because, you're just watched Breaking Bad on TV and you're, thinking of criminal stuff, or you're thinking of, you just listen to a podcast, or you just listen to something. It's like, I was rationalizing it. Like, it's okay. Like, there's a reason for it. Maybe the mailman just came and I heard him talking and it's okay. But then once it started escalating to, now I'm seeing figures walk by me regularly.
Oh God, Katherine.
And I was fine because I was like, this is just my life now. This is okay. And this is normal. And I could never make out faces.
You're accepting this.
I'm accepting it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I talk back to it. I'm seeing the shadows walk by when I'm cooking, and I just see a figure walk right by me and like stop. I'm just like, that's just how my life is now, I guess. That's just what's going on. And then one day my baby I had him sitting in a seat on the counter, buckled in, like while I was cooking or getting lunch together or whatever. And we were just kind of playing with each other. And again, we were very bonded. My son and I are still like just the absolute 2 peas in a pod. I'm his best friend. He is just the joy of our family.
Yeah.
And we are bonded and we're playing back and forth. And I see his face just start to.
She's about to do the face thing. Don't worry, I'll rewind that 1 second. But I thought that it was really telling that she has to tell us that we're best friends. We're so close. Again, I feel like that shame still seeping out all this time later, which is just sad to me. So if Katherine, not that Katherine may ever see this, but if Katherine ever does come past this, Katherine, you are a queen for sharing your story and allowing other people the opportunity to experience just for a moment what it was like to be in your situation at that time and how help is available. So thank you for that, and let's keep going. And this is the part about the face, the baby's face, so listen up.
And he is just the joy of our family.
Yeah.
And we are bonded and we're playing back and forth. And I see his face just start to shift, like he was aging rapidly into like an old man.
Okay.
And then I just, picked him up and I went and sat him in his crib, and I just went in my room and I just laid in bed and I cried and I was upset. And then I knew, okay, this isn't just, because I could deal with hearing some stuff. I could deal with some shadows and just, but now my baby is being affected. I'm seeing that I'm like placing him in odd places. His face is changing. That scared me so bad, because now I don't know what does my baby look like, what's going on. But it's like it happens in a way that your reality shifts so seamlessly, where you just become a part of your own reality and you're comfortable with it. This is your reality. This is what's going on. This is my life now. And it's like, like I've said, like, it's like you're in a dream and it's a dream. Like you're having a lucid dream is what it feels like. It's a lucid dream that is a dream, but like, you're okay with it. Yeah, it's just what it is. It's like having 2 TV shows on side by side and the sound is on, but you don't know which one it's on for. So you're constantly like checking to make sure I would have him. And I would just make sure that like, okay, I'm really holding it. Place him somewhere. And I don't know. I have no idea.
Where he is, or
no idea.
It's enough for you.
It was enough is enough in, I think it was February of 21. So what's that? Like 5 to 6 months, 4. Yeah, about. So it was February. Yeah, I finally told my husband, I said, because then I did always had mental health struggles my whole life. And that was fine to me. I knew I was eventually going to have to go back on my drugs, like for depression. I was so set on breastfeeding my son this time, and I didn't want to do any medication because my psych had told me that, when you have your baby, let me know and we'll go back on your medicine. And I didn't want to be medicated, even with breast milk safe medication. I was adamant to wait as long as possible to go back on any medication. So I waited until February and I told my husband, I said, hey, I think it's time. I need to make a call and we'll get this. Yeah, and get help because this is not, I started to just sit there one day and realize this is affecting me. This is not, I can't handle this on my own.
Okay, you guys. So Katherine explains that months passed before she sought psychiatric help. She says she's been reluctant to resume psychiatric medication while breastfeeding. I can't blame her. This is the thing. When you are pregnant or you're going through the postpartum era, you do have to make decisions when it comes to things like mental health. Let's just take pregnancy, for example. If you're medicated with if you're taking something for your mental health and you get pregnant, you shouldn't just stop altogether. You should have a conversation with your doctor about the risks if you continue and the risks if you don't continue. Let me say that again. You want to ask about the risks if you continue the medicine, but don't forget to ask, what are the risks if we stop it? And in some cases, there might be an alternative, like same class of drugs, but maybe one that has been seen as safer or that has a multi-generational life. So it's been around for many generations. So there are things that can be done. But she was reluctant, like most people would be. Eventually, she contacted a long-established psychiatric provider that she used in the past, and she described some of the symptoms and was told that postpartum psychosis might be developing. I mean, what if Lindsay had that same experience? What if somebody had noticed right away that it could have been postpartum psychosis? So let's talk about this real quick. Months, she said months. She didn't wait hours, she waited months. Not one bizarre afternoon, but months of bizarre afternoons, right? And during those months, she says she was functioning. This is why I don't like the sentence, if she were really psychotic, somebody would have noticed. Maybe they would have, but maybe they wouldn't have. Mental illness doesn't owe us a theatrical. I said theoretical. I meant theatrical. It doesn't. We don't have to be theatrical and give this presentation every time we're having a mental health crisis. But something else matters here for me. Katherine already had a psychiatric provider. She had an established relationship. Her clinician knew her baseline. And I think that that's important. That's incredibly valuable here, because one of the best pieces of information clinicians can have is what's normal for this particular person. Psychiatry is not only does this behavior look strange, it's also, is this a meaningful change in baseline for this person. If somebody has always been extremely organized, organization doesn't tell me a whole lot, right? If someone who's previously spontaneously suddenly begins obsessively tracking every behavior because she doesn't trust her memory, that might be different, right? So that might be significantly different. So the point here that I want you to take from this is that your baseline matters, okay?
Kids were getting fed and the baby was getting fed, and I was, taking care of my house, and I was still going to work a couple days a week, and my clients were fine, and everyone was excited for me because we had our new baby. And I thought, okay, I've got it handled. Clearly what I'm doing is working. It's fine. But you can just, when you sit and think, it started with one voice. Okay, now my baby's morphing and I'm forgetting where I'm placing him, and you can see the deterioration. And that was just over the course of a few months.
What did you do? Like, who were you able to go to?
So fortunately, because I have had mental health problems my whole life, I've had an established psych. I have a amazing woman that I've seen for about 13 to 15 years now, around there. So I already had, I messaged her on my chart. I said, hey, I think we need to have a meeting and I would like to set up an appointment with you. And I talked to her and I told her a fraction of what I'm telling you right now. And she said, hey, that sounds like postpartum psychosis starting, babe. And I said, it sounds like what? And she said, postpartum psychosis, you're getting misperceptions, you're hearing things that aren't there, you're getting, your mood is altering. And I'd never heard of this term. So immediately I Google it and I look it up and I said, holy shit, this is it. This is what I have. I have everything. I have all of it. I have all of these symptoms. And that scared me. So she put me on a medication. I believe I think it was Wellbutrin. And we started with that. And she checked back in a month later. And within that month, I noticed a reduction in symptoms. I noticed just my ability to decipher reality from the misperceptions. I was still seeing and hearing some stuff, but it was like, oh, that's what that is. That's fine. And even with just knowing that that's what it is made me feel better, because there was finally an explanation for it. I stopped calling my husband and saying, oh my gosh, are you here? Are you here? I stopped texting my kids, like, are you in the house? And it, even just being diagnosed and having an explanation for how I was feeling made me feel, I felt so much better. And I remember I told my husband, I said, so she says I've got postpartum psychosis starting. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. And we were both shocked, but it added up perfectly. And with medication, it just kind of faded away. I was able to establish reality again and not be so, questioning of what was going on. I never saw my baby's face look differently again. I didn't have intrusive thoughts with him. I did not, thankfully, get any intrusive thoughts with my psychosis episode. That has to be just terrifying. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, especially when you're not in full control of that parallel universe that you're describing, the baby behind the couch, that sort of thing. And, that really, the what ifs, Katherine.
Yeah.
Have you been able to kind of go through those what ifs, or how do you handle that? Because I know that must have been incredibly traumatizing of what could have happened.
I had a lot of time where I pushed it very far back in my mind. Like I said, this happened 5 years ago, and I'm just now feeling safe talking about it because, you don't want to think about what ifs, but it is hard to imagine, what if I would have put my baby somewhere under a pile of clothes and didn't realize it. And I would think about it. I tried to understand how I would have got to the point where I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know where I was. And it's absolutely terrifying to think about what could have happened.
Okay, you guys, so in this part, Katherine discusses the frightening what ifs of what could have happened while she was losing confidence in reality. Then she says that she found the Lindsay Clancy case, well, she's about to say that, extremely difficult to follow because of this occurrence, and that this happened relatively soon after her own experience. Because remember, you guys, she said that this happened about 5 years ago, so it's been about 5 years. This case happened about 4 years ago. So that must have been extremely difficult for her to watch that and be like, oh my gosh, like, what if type thing, you know, what if this happened, what if that happened? So she explicitly says she doesn't know exactly what happened in Lindsay's mind, right? So this is why I respect the way that Katherine approaches Lindsay, which we're going to see in a minute. She doesn't say, I had postpartum psychosis, therefore I know Lindsay has it. She doesn't know that, right? But she acknowledges that, so we're going to hear that next. And that's exactly where lived experience should sit. Lived experience says, this phenomenon is real. This is what it felt like to me. This is what people might misunderstand about it. But it doesn't say that I can diagnose the defendant because something similar happened to me. So lived experience and expertise are not interchangeable, but both have value. They answer different questions. A survivor can give us an extraordinary insight into subjective experiences. A forensic psychiatrist is supposed to evaluate clinical evidence, differential diagnoses, records, timing, behavior, and legal relevance. Those are different jobs, and neither needs to diminish the other. So let's just hear what she had to say about Lindsay.
Katherine, when you heard about the Lindsay Clancy case, how did that affect you?
Oh, I have to severely microdose that entire case. It happened about 2 years after my episode. So I remember hearing about it on the news, and then I have not, so that was 2023. I have not read or heard anything about it until this month when I saw that it's, finally in trial and everything. I've completely had to block that out because that makes me, I feel so terrible for that entire family and what, this did to their family. It killed their family, and Lindsay made a horrible, horrible choice, and she's not denying it. She's admitting that she did that. I feel for everybody involved in it. And it's something that I have to severely microdose myself.
It's so scary.
It's so scary. And it's just a very hard thing for me to watch. Yeah.
Katherine, one thing that I was thinking about when we were planning to talk was that your story, the story of women going through postpartum psychosis, is exactly what the defense for Lindsay Clancy wanted to get to trial. They wanted to have women just like you get on that stand and tell the jury, this was my experience, in order to not to validate even what Lindsay Clancy did, but to help us understand what postpartum psychosis is. You were going through it and you had never heard of it before.
Never.
Do you think that we need to re-examine how we're looking at it? Because right now, we know in the Lindsay Clancy trial, there will be an expert battle on whether or not she was suffering from psychosis.
I think that there's no such thing as bad education. And especially when it comes to women's health, maternal health, postpartum health, I don't know why you would want to not educate people on something. I'm fortunate because I already had a system set up for me. I had an established psych. She knew my baseline. She knew what was normal for me. She knew everything that I was going through. And I think that we just spend a lot of time buying the rocking chairs and getting the breast pumps and decorating the nursery. But we're not educating women, and we're not getting the opportunity to be educated on postpartum health, mental health struggles, what to look for. I think that instead of, registering for everything, I think you also should register for a psych. I think that we should all have an established psych when we are pregnant or before you get pregnant, if it's available. I know that healthcare is a pain. I'm not denying that, but I think that we should spend equal amounts of time caring for the mom's mental health. I think that we should invest in having a good psych that knows where you're at, so that when you do come to them and say, hey, I'm hearing stuff, they can say, oh, that's not like you. This is what we're going to do. I had already had gene testing done to in the past, so I know what medications work for me and what don't. I had already had a list of medications that we had tried, some that didn't work, some that do work. And I
So we see here, you guys, Katherine clearly had these extra supports that a lot of women don't have, and she still lives to tell this experience. I think that that's important. Hey mothers, hey YouTube bad actors, hey my girlfriend Truth, how you guys doing? I'm so glad you were all here. Truth brings up a good point, you guys. So I think, Truth, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but do you mean like here in PA we call it a 302? I believe in Florida it's the Baker's Act. But is that what you're referring to? Like when you go, when you are involuntarily committed, you could also be voluntarily committed. Maybe that's what I meant. So I think with Truth, and I think this is what you're saying, I just want to make sure because it's good information, that if you go to the hospital, like a mental institution, even if you go to like, the emergency room and you tell them that you are having thoughts of taking your own life or others, there is a psychiatric hold that might occur that will help you see if you need inpatient care. So yeah, she said that is what she's talking about, and that is, so it's going to be called something different everywhere, but it's 72 hours and they can hold you. Now if you have a loved one, like let's say you have a sibling and you see your sibling struggling and they, maybe they're not even thinking to call type thing, or they're like, no, I'm not going inpatient, whatever it is, but you see that they're a danger to themselves or others, you can call and have them. Now you can't just call and be like, oh, there's this girl, Truth exposed, and I think she needs to be held for 72 hours. Like, it's not that easy. Also, in most states, I know in Pennsylvania, they won't do it if you're on drugs or alcohol in that moment, but they do it it's a psychiatric hold. So it's not, they said, like they would tell you that it's not considered like a rehab facility. Even if, so this is the thing, I guess this is good information for you guys, because hopefully nobody ever has to do this, but if you do, make sure that when you call that you don't stress the drugs or alcohol, stress the part that the person is danger to themselves or others, and then that could, that's just part of it, but don't make that the central focus, because I've seen where somebody that really needed that 72-hour hold wasn't mandated to go because of the drugs and alcohol part of it, and there being a different rehab facility for that. So this has happened real close to home, and so what'll happen is the police will go and they'll pick up the person and they'll tell them that there's been in Pennsylvania it's a 302, Florida the Baker's Act, whatever it's called in your state, and that you have to go and have a psyche eval pretty much. And whether you want to go or not, this is the thing. If you get it, what's the word I'm looking for? In order for this to occur, there has to be a judge that signs off on the order. Cops don't just show up to your house, right? So there has to be an order for you to go do this. So the judge would have to see enough evidence to say, oh yeah, I think that this person needs a psych eval. Now, when you could go and have a psych eval done, and they could be like, yeah, no, like somebody clearly, this is not, and then they could discharge you. However, they can hold you up to 72 hours to figure out if you're a danger to yourself or others. Also, during that time, so it has happened to where somebody was like kicking and screaming on the way, but during the 72 hours had an epiphany pretty much that they really needed this help, and that they could really benefit from the help, and they decided to stay voluntarily. So that would be the next fight. After 72 hours, does the person get released, or do they sign themselves in for a week, 2 weeks, whatever, the course of treatment is, or if the clinicians think that they need it, like that's a whole other step. So if you could get somebody to voluntarily sign the papers at that point, it just makes care easier for them to receive. That's all. So let's see. Ooh, what dessert are you talking about? Cowboy puff. Oh, you're talking about like a puff. Gotcha. Blueberry dump truck. What the frig is that? That doesn't sound like Wawa soup, so I don't know. Oh, vaporizers. YouTube actor said I'd smoked cigarettes for over 30 years. I can't believe what a wimp I am with weed. That's so funny. Harlot says, Casey, I'm not sure about a 72-hour hold at all. That's why I was asking, but I know they can when people are committed longer than that at sometimes. So let's see what the question was. Let's see, you guys were saying, Casey said, I'm not sure if they can force you to take medication. That's a good question. That's a good question. Oh. I'll have to find out. Let's see. Did something else happen back here that I didn't see? All right, let me keep going. All right, let's keep going. So the host here discusses the defense, oh no, I definitely am on the wrong note I just pulled up. That was pretty crazy. So let's keep going.
I'm so fortunate that I'm able to have that. And it kind of breaks my heart when I hear people say things like, oh, that's not real. Oh, they're making it up. And I'm like, it's very real. I assure you, it's unfortunately very real for me. Like, I wouldn't get your diagnosis.
Well, no. And did she explain to you, did your psych explain to you how postpartum psychosis develops?
I mean, so the sad part is that I'm actively in psychosis at this appointment. So I'm fully reliant on my MyChart notes. And I remember her explaining to me that it is, I'm a little more susceptible to it because I had prior mental health problems. She explained to me that, by a traumatic birth experience, a colicky baby, lack of sleep, those all can contribute to it. But plenty of women get it that, like me, that I like I said, I had the perfect baby. I had just moved into our nice new house. I mean, there was nothing that you could have blamed this on.
Well, and Katherine, I mean, now, you put this post out on Facebook. What was it? Yeah. A few days ago? Like a week ago? Like a week ago. Okay. So you put it out there. There are thousands of comments from women talking about, oh my God, I had this, or I know someone that had this, or bonding over what this was like and trying to understand, like, just going through the symptoms. It really is. To me, it's like, this is one of.
Yeah. It was, the comments on my post were overwhelmingly, I think, supportive. There was a few people that,
I saw them.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
But they were few and far between. Mainly,
a very supportive comment section. There were some women that had, they said that they were in psychosis. And one woman in particular told me, I recognize, this isn't right. I'm getting very intrusive thoughts of hurting my baby. I'm getting very intrusive thoughts of just alternate realities, visuals, the auditory hallucinations, all that stuff. So she told her husband, she said, we need to go to an inpatient facility, take me there. And the husband and her, she said, they went to the inpatient facility, and the inpatient facility said, oh, okay. Well, since you recognize that you have postpartum psychosis, we can't help you. We can only help you if you are in denial or don't recognize that you are in psychosis, because now we get to treat you outpatiently. And she said, what are you talking about? I'm begging. You're so brave and you recognized it and you are aware of your psychosis. We can treat you outpatient. So that was shocking to me, because I had always told my husband, hey, if I get too bad or if something happens, we can go somewhere. Surely that can be an option. And until I read her comment on my post, I thought that was an option for everybody, that if you walked into a place, surely that they would say, we're not going to let you go home. This is an emergency. And I think that that's what Lindsay was doing, is she was saying, you know, please help me, please help me. And I don't know what else you're supposed to do when you aren't getting the help that you need, and you're, you know, begging for help, and you're brave enough to go into a place and ask for help. And that's the standard of care that we have, it seems, and it's awful.
Okay, so a few things. One, welcome to the Minds Behind True Crime with Dr. Vona. To Kay Miller, thank you, pattern seeker. Like, what? Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I love getting new members. I'm a little obsessed with it. I don't know why. I get so excited. Thank you so much. Casey, thank you. I appreciate it. Ivy, wow. Thank you so much, Ivy. I appreciate you. Kay Miller, thank you for saying that this is so interesting. My whole hope here is to bring awareness. Jenny and you both said how interesting and helpful it was tonight. So if I could help one person, I feel like I've done my job. So the fact that 2 people in one night have gone out of their way to say that this was helpful is just amazing, in my opinion. Harlot, thank you, Queen. I love you. That was great. Thank you so much. Oh my God, Ivy. Thank you, Ivy. Wow. Yeah, you guys, what is this little symbol? The hiding? What are they doing here? I'm curious. Like, what is that? Is that supposed to be fingers? I'm so confused at what it is. I think it's cool. I'm just confused at what it is. I think every time I see it, I'm like, Unless it's like hiding something. Is that the point of it? Oh my God, straight stupid. It's cute though. Love it. Thank you. I appreciate you. So Casey says, the guy in the shower. Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about crickets. Oh my God. Oh my God, Casey. If you would have, my whole stomach just like dropped. I felt ill. When you said the one that was in the shower with my daughter, I was like, what the fuck? And you were talking about a cricket. Thank God. Whew. So, oh, it's a little doe person bent over. How cute. They're hiding. Oh God. How cute though. Oh, I love you guys. Amanda, how are you, Amanda? Amanda is laughing out loud. It's a funny face down. How the frig? Did you see a doe or a funny face down? Either one of you. I just want to know. You were looking for a cricket gift, but there isn't one. That's funny. It's a person laying with their face in their hands. A wise woman sent my favorite happy poop. I love the gold happy poop. It's so cute. I want one for like over here just to have. I need to get myself a golden happy poop. Thank you. Mine has its knees crawled up under it also. Oh, it's like in a fetal position, but face down with face and shins to the ground. Oh, now that I see it, next time I see it, I'm going to have to look at it now with those eyes. Ivy, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, you guys. It's so, like, I can't even tell you. I can't even articulate how much I appreciate you guys. So, wow, Harlot, thank you. Wait, what the fuck? Kay Miller just made me say fuck. Kay Miller, What the actual Kay Miller? Oh my God, you guys. I don't think I've ever been gifted 20 memberships. I'm dead. Kay Miller. I'm dead. Kay Miller. What the? And YouTube Bad Actors wasn't one of the recipients. Go figure. How does that happen? What? Oh my. I've never been gifted 20 memberships. I don't think I know how to react. I'm like, my heart's doing this though. So
thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's going to say thank you 20 times, I think. Kay Miller, my heart is just jumping. Let me move my thing over here so you guys can see me. Kay Miller, my heart. I'm like, I don't know how to react. I've never been gifted 20 memberships. Let's clap. Let's cheer. Since my corny thing doesn't want to give me the dun 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 dun. Oh, but I'm dancing. Yeah. Let's see who our newest memberships are. Kay Miller. I don't even know how to act right now. I don't think you understand.
Thank you.
I'm like at a loss for how do you react when somebody gifts you 20 memberships. That's where I'm at right now. So just bear with me. Thank you. Wow. Well, let's see who our newest memberships are. We have Swearing Helps. We have Aussie True Crime. Who do we have? We have Marlene.
Thank you.
We have Cubic. We have Annie. We have Indie Girl. We have TLM 416. We have Abidi. We have
thank you.
Lynn's.
Thank you.
I'm dead. I don't even know how to react. We have Lynn's. We have Robert Curry. We have Unfiltered Kelly. I don't know how to say the next one. It's a dash.
Thank you. Thank you.
Heinz Dash. Welcome. Oh, you guys. Casey. Harlot.
Thank you.
This is Sarah.
Thank you.
How did This Is Sarah get a membership? So Sarah's listening and watching. I don't know how Sarah got a membership because she's blocked. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Truth. What the actual... So This Is Sarah's one of them. I'm not sure why. You guys, just so you know, I don't block anybody. There's like one person blocked for my entire thing.
Thank you.
She said, no, I just got a membership. And it wasn't me, it was her. If you guys had any idea what she's done to try to make my life hell, I can't even, so I don't know how she just got a membership.
Thank you.
And I wish YouTube Bad Actors would have gotten it instead. And I don't know how to, whatever, but I am now so incredibly thankful because now I know that she's still stalking my YouTube and watching because she just got a membership. So hi, Sarah. We're doing good over here. Like, come on, get a life. Okay, then we have Cheryl.
Thank you.
We have Sesame. I am so happy that Sarah happens to be here in a live where somebody just gifted 20 memberships so she could see that even with all of her hate for me, that people are still showing up for me and that people still love my channel and that people are still here to support me. So if you are one of those people that support me, please hit subscribe and like, because I promise you, you could have the best intentions and you can want nothing more than to help educate people on YouTube out of the kindness of your heart, just because this is what you love to do. And you could have one person who decides that they don't think you're good enough, and that person tries and goes and does everything. And when I tell you everything, I mean down to contacting different agencies to saying like false things to have investigations on me. Like, you guys have no idea what this person's done to me. So the fact that all of you are here supporting me when this just happened means more to me than anything. Actions speak louder than words, and I will never hate. I wish nothing horrible on Sarah. I hope to God, Sarah, that you like your membership and that you get everything you've ever wanted from it. I don't know how you received it. Consider yourself lucky. You should be blocked. You've done nothing but try and torture my life. And anybody else watching, just be, like, if you're a creator, be careful, because, oh, I think she just took herself off. Thank you. Thank you. I wish it would now go to somebody else. I just watched her take herself off, so she was watching that whole time. That was so, I can't even tell you. I don't even know. Oh my God. So anyway, back to you guys. Cheryl, you are a part of this. Sesame, you are. Island Time, welcome. Jackie, welcome. Kevin, Tree Service, welcome. And we have Rita, welcome. And A. Bell, welcome. I am beside myself with gratitude. Thank you so much, Kay Miller. You have made a contribution that was so well worth it. I don't think you even understand. Thank you. Wow. God works in mysterious ways. Casey will be right back. YouTube bad actor says Kay Miller is awesome and very generous. I can't think of a better word. Jenny says ha ha ha, Mother Earth's hearts. Ivy, you are so generous too. Thank you, Ivy. Kay Miller says you're doing a really great thing here with your channel. Thank you for all that you do for the community. Kay Miller, I don't know where you came from today. Like, as far I know where you came from, I don't mean it like that. But I mean, I feel like God makes things happen for a reason, and that you came in today at this moment and did this beautiful thing. And I don't even want to put the energy into how much, like, on that side. Like, I want to put the energy into you. I don't want to give energy to the other part of this. Mother Oats with the big hearts. Jenny with the ha-has. Ivy says, awesome, Kay Miller. Casey says, oh, wow. Wow. Kay Miller is awesome, 1,000%. Thank you so much, says everybody, to Kay Miller. Mother Oats painting the nails. Woohoo. Thank you for finding Dr. Vona, Kay Miller. You'll love her. Well deserved. Oh, thank you. You deserve it. I've been watching in the bushes. Much, much deserved. Kay Miller, I am like speechless. Oh, JC, where the frig did you come from, JC? I didn't see you in here yet. Thank you. Oh my God. Casey, oh my God, thank you. You guys are gonna fucking make me cry. What is wrong with you people? I said, what's wrong with you people? You're gonna make me cry. Did you just hear what I said? Don't listen to me, I'm being dramatic. Casey said, I saw that. Harlot said, what the? Because they saw what happened. I'm literally like dying over here. YouTube says you don't have to be subscribed. And it's interesting, she got one if blocked. You don't have to be subscribed, really? That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Me either. How do you receive a gift membership? JC, I'm sure Harlot already put it in there. But if not, Harlot, could you, Harlot, it just explains it the best way possible. Yes, now she was a member, Ivy, but as I was talking about it, I saw her, like, the thing left, so I don't know how I don't know if she, like, blocked us back or whatever. She's probably just switched over to one of her other burner accounts and just rejoined. So, what's up? But, yeah, that was crazy. What a story I had to tell later. I just looked and it tells me she's not blocked. And asked if I want to block her, but I don't know if that's me personally or the channel. Does anyone know? YouTube ad actor says, Kay Miller, Dr. Vona is so kind, and a person did something really horrible to her. Horrible, you guys. Oh, it says this is Sarah was hidden by harlot. Oh, you hid her. Harlot, you might as well go on hide her. Let me tell you why. Because she just rejoined as this is Farah. And if we hide that, she'll rejoin as this is Para. And then this is Kara and Dara and Zara. So you might as well just unblock her. What the hell is the difference? Let her see what she came here to see. That we have a beautiful community that's continuing to grow despite the hate. And when I tell you guys hate, literally, I mean hate. If you Google my name, and I can't believe I'm even telling people this because you would think like, don't bring attention to it. She clearly needs it. If she, you know what I mean? You guys, let me tell you her biggest complaint. Ready? Ready? Sit down. Ready for this? I just have a bachelor's and master's in counseling psychology with a specialization in marriage and family therapy, and I'm just have a doctorate in education, and that I'm not a licensed counseling psychologist, even though that's what my specialization and my master's and bachelor's are in, and I have 1,500 supervised counseling hours right over there in my closet that I could show people if I wanted to. And that's just the ones that are, signed off by a supervisor. I don't have to prove myself to her. I don't need a license, you guys, because I'm a psychology professor, which she also tells people isn't a job in psychology, and that I haven't worked a day in psychology in my whole life. So, we're not even talking about the truth here, but the things that she does complain about that are factual, I'm like, really? Like, what? Like, I praise people for going to a trade school. And I'm not saying that people need to praise. What I'm saying is, like, what do you mean I'm just a doctorate in education? Like, I got my doctorate in education because I work in university. I chose to teach. I didn't do the counseling route. I did it for over 15,000 hours. Then I had a daughter who was born with a disability, and she needed 30 plus surgeries, 4 limb lengthenings, which are year-long procedures. There were 3 times a week. I was in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. So Delaware for G's leg, Pennsylvania because that's where I live, and then New Jersey because that's where I work. 3 times a day, 3 days a week for over a year. I did that on 4 different years in the past 23 years. So I decided a different path. But because I decided a different path, she tries to take like little things, like I decided not to go down the licensed counseling route, so she needs to like tell everybody but my thing is, I'm like proud of what I've accomplished. I have no shame for that. Oh, and she also thinks that I like hate on people with disabilities, but I don't know if she forgets or if she just doesn't know that Gianna, who all of you love so dearly for all of the reasons that I love her as well, that she has fibular hemimelia. So she was born missing her fibula, ankle, last 2 toes, and half of her foot on the right side. So she's had over 30 surgeries, 4 years of limb lengthening, and so I get it. Another thing I'm going to tell you guys, if you've lasted this long, because I'm really not supposed to get too into it because I had to sign all kinds of things, stuff like that. But this case, I think I figured out what hits me with this case. And, well, one of the things, other than the fact of all the obvious with the psychology, but just, you know what, I'm going to back that up a little bit just in case, because I don't know who's listening, and somebody with bad intentions might twist something I say to take a well-meaning moment and turn it against me. So maybe I shouldn't. I guess I could still say the same thing by saying Gianna's leg, that during my pregnancy, I've always have been a part of mental health, you guys, whether as the therapist, the patient, the teacher, in some way, I've been in this field since I was 13. So I was, like most people, struggling around, in my 20s, and there's just a whole psychology background in Gianna's. Fibula hemimelia, and all that stuff. If anybody's ever interested or you wanted to talk about it, if you have questions or whatever, please feel the need to DM me on like Discord. We have an amazing Discord that Cuff You, who wasn't able to come tonight, which is crazy because Cuff You's always here. So, but Cuff You wasn't here tonight, but she always puts up our link. And if anybody's ever in there and you want to, DM me, I could talk to you further on it. But just for the sake of protecting my child, I'm going to stop that conversation there, and we'll see what happens. Harlot said, let's see. Harlot, it won't let me click on it for some reason, but I'm not worried about it. I don't even know what we're talking about, but I'm not worried about it. You guys are all good. Jenny says F0. JC says, I don't know. Spammers and trolls sometimes gotta block. Guess what? That could be true. Yeah, Dr. Vona, just drop it. Yes, I am. Gianna's amazing. Thank you, YouTube. I need people out there to tell me, like, okay, no matter who we are or how we believe, there will always be people that don't like us. It's just how it is. And with that being said, according to Mackenzie Shrilla, what did she say? That she wanted her mom to change her social media to say, if you ain't hating, wait, what is it? If they ain't hating, you doing something wrong. The fuck? That's literally what she told her mom to put on her social media. So in the words of Mackenzie Shrilla, if they ain't hating, you doing something wrong. The fuck? You should be, K Miller, thank you. K Miller says you should be proud of everything you've accomplished. You shine like a star. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the K Miller. I'm so corny. I definitely wear my heart on my sleeve. YouTube ad actor said Boom made her cry. It was who made me cry? It was K Miller. K Miller, you're allowed to make me cry today because you got me 20 memberships. But you definitely made me cry. Oh. All right, let me bring it back together. I know us Italians were so friggin' dramatic. I can't take it. But let me with this, because I do want to make sure that this is the end of this. I just want to see if there was anything else that she said.
Well, I mean, Katherine, thank you so much for sharing your story, because if this helps one family go through this, if one family hears this, that recognizes just a part of the story that you're telling, because the Lindsay Clancy trial is the worst of the worst, right? This is like
absolutely the worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. It's gonna traumatize everybody that hears it for sure.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
If they hear your story, that wait a minute, there is a way forward. When when I hear this, I hope that's what that comes from this.
I hope so too.
I just thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us. I hope that you keep this Facebook post alive and people keep on coming back to you and keep on coming back to the story so that we can learn something. So I'm just really grateful that you could talk to us.
Me tell my story. So yeah, I do hope that it helps somebody and somebody recognizes it. And it is a medical emergency. It is not. If I would have known about it before I was diagnosed, I wouldn't have let it go on for months. I would have probably contacted my psych immediately because it is a medical emergency. It can deteriorate fast, rapidly. Right. And the sooner that you can get help and the sooner that you can have somebody that you can confide in, like your spouse, your partner, your family, your friends, your doctor, therapist, the sooner that you can get help.
Thank you for listening to Katherine's story. I think.
Yes, thank you for listening to Katherine's story for sure. Wait, I think I have a few notes just to wrap that part up, and then I'll tell you about that creator thing that Casey just said, because I do want to say something along that lines as well. So, you guys, Katherine talked about the responses about other women online, and she recounted a story from another commentator who said that she sought inpatient care because of intrusive thoughts and psychotic symptoms, but was treated outpatient instead. This is important fact check moment. So I wanted to make sure that I said something about this because I want to demonstrate responsible true crime analysis. So Katherine is now telling us about something another woman posted online. That's secondhand, so we don't have that woman's medical records. We don't have their intake evaluation. We don't know the facility. We don't know exactly what was said. We don't even know if that was a real person. I mean, I would hope that somebody wouldn't just spam a story like that, but you just never know. So I do want to keep that in mind because I would hate to allow disinformation or misinformation, rather, not disinformation, that would be purposeful, but misinformation, I wouldn't want that to be out there. I don't know of any programs, I don't know if any of you have, where you go and say that you know that you're a danger to yourself and others, and they send you home outpatient care because you had enough insight to know that much. So I will say, please take that with, you know, a big warning label type thing, just for lack of a better term. So I want to make sure too that hospitals refusing women with postpartum psychosis, again, we don't know that that is necessarily true. So we don't have that evidence for that conclusion from this anecdote that we just heard. But what we can say is that some women report feeling like the level of psychiatric care that they did receive didn't match the danger that they were experiencing, and that is alarming. So that's legitimate, and it's an issue that needs to be explored for sure. But this is how misinformation happens in true crime. Somebody tells a story, then somebody else summarizes the story, then somebody reposts the summary. 3 days later, there's a fact that hospitals won't admit you if you know you're psychotic. So I want to say, no, that's not necessarily true. Slow down. We need evidence first. So ironically, that's exactly the discipline we need in the Clancy case too, in my opinion. So Katherine closed by emphasizing that education, early recognition, reduced stigma, and faster access to help are all things that are definitely needed within our society, especially when related to issues of postpartum. She also describes postpartum psychosis as a medical emergency, and she said that if she had understood the condition earlier, she believes she would have contacted her psychiatrist much sooner. She wouldn't have waited those 5 months. And, you know, that might be the most important takeaway of this entire video, was that it not necessarily had anything to do with Lindsay Clancy, but education before crisis, not after, right? So let's educate each other now. So like I said, I had 2 people in here that said that this was particularly helpful for them. Travis, what's up, Travis? You missed, I already cried and shit. Travis, Sarah became a member. You have no idea. You missed so much. Joanne, you missed all the shit, Joanne. You got to go back and listen. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. And I meant that in a loving way, obviously. But education before crisis, not after. Families, the people that came on here tonight and said that this was helpful for them, who knows? You could have a neighbor who's pregnant right now, and just by watching this or just by following the Clancy case, you might now ask that neighbor, you good? Everything okay? You know what I mean? Like, you might be more willing to tell your own stories if you have them. That's another big one here. So families prepare for everything. We prepare for the car seat. We get the crib, the breast pump, the diapers, sleep schedules. We have birthing plans. But how many families are actually told? If she says she hears a voice that isn't there, or if she becomes paranoid, if she appears severely confused, if reality starts changing for her, this may be a psychiatric emergency. She ain't making it up. Oh, Joanne, thank you for my happy poop. Are you sunny now? Come on in, welcome. Hey. So again, you guys, remember that, because that is so important. That's the part of Katherine's story I think deserves attention, regardless of how anyone feels about Lindsay, right? So let's bring it back to Lindsay real quick, though, because that is ultimately why I had us watch this, because this is where some of us might split. One group might watch Katherine and say, see, Lindsay could absolutely have been psychotic, and another group might watch it and say, Katherine's story proves Lindsay wasn't psychotic because Katherine behaved differently. Both conclusions are bad psychology in my opinion. Katherine's one case, one person, one symptom pattern. Her experience shows what is possible. It doesn't establish what happened to Lindsay Clancy or anybody else for that matter. So the question remains, what evidence exists with Lindsay herself related to her impaired reality testing? Not could postpartum psychosis cause this? Could a person hide symptoms? Could someone remain organized? Could someone experience hallucinations? They're all the wrong questions, right? Was her reality impaired? Did anybody test that? What I just mentioned here, they were just general questions. The courtroom question is narrower. So did Lindsay Clancy experience a mental state that satisfies the relevant legal standard at the time her children's lives were taken? That requires Lindsay-specific evidence, right? So we can't just use anybody's stories, which might be why the judge denied the defense to have other women go up there and tell their stories. So I think that that's important. There is a few things real quick. So I think it was Casey that said about how there are other, and Ella just said it, Brooke Shields, how there are other creators and women out there that are now telling their story of postpartum depression. This is what I will tell you. You're going to find that a large portion of women that have, I just said women that have children as opposed to, but of people after having children will experience postpartum depression. Now let me tell you this, it takes about 6 weeks for involution to occur. That's when your uterus goes back to its pre-pregnancy state. During that time we have a slew of hormones and stuff that are changing. So naturally, most people, like literally most people, feel what we call the baby blues. And this is just our body getting back to the way it was pre-pregnancy. It's after those 6 weeks. If you're still, or you're getting worse, you know what I mean, and things aren't getting better at all, that's when you have to start asking questions like, could this be postpartum depression? And if you've had postpartum depression in the past, chances are you're more than likely to experience it again, and often worse the second or third time. So it is something that needs to be monitored or talked about and not shamed. Women need to know that they're not alone. Now, postpartum psychosis is, when I looked up the research, it's approximately 1 to 2 per 1,000 births. So it is very, very rare, right? But postpartum depression, not so much. It's not so rare. So let's go over a few myths real quick about psychosis before I end the live. I have a few notes here. So, and real quick, just going back to Brooke Shields and the other creators, yes, Annie Elise was one of them. I think that is so brave that people are coming out telling their story. Joanne, thank you, Queen. Kami, that's so cool. That sounds like, well, I just almost said that sounds like Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm clearly getting tired. I just said sounds like Jamie with a K. It is Jamie with a K. Kami, welcome to the Minds Behind True Crime, where we put the fun in dysfunctional. Joanne, thank you. That was so very generous of you. I appreciate you so much. And you two bad actors, are you sure that you don't have your gifting turned on? I feel like it's so weird that same thing. Oh, no, they even got one. Yeah, you two bad actors, I feel like you're on an island of your own. We need to get you a membership. We need to figure this out. But let me go over a few myths real quick. While also thanking those creators, actresses, all the people that have come out and told their story. That is one thing, thank God, I did not experience. However, because I was educated about it before I gave birth, I knew what to look out for. So, and I wasn't afraid to tell someone if I felt that way. Like I had conversations because I dealt with depression and stuff before that. It was something that I was, very cognizant of. I was very aware of it. I would, I told Rye about it, my mom, like my best friend, we all talked about it. So it was something we were looking out for. And for whatever reason, thank God, I did not get postpartum depression. So I thank God didn't have to go further with it, but I was ready to, and I remember not feeling ashamed. And when I was younger, you guys, you would have laughed, because I was like Gianna, like how she's like real, like an activist and she's outspoken and stuff, but that's how I was when it came to mental health. So I was like, I don't give a fuck. If I'm having delusions, I'm having delusions, and you're all good. Like, I didn't care. I don't know how it was like the opposite of shame when it came to those things. I don't know if maybe it's from stuff before that. It was probably from trauma, let me be honest. Yeah, that's probably a trauma-induced reaction. I digress. Casey says, one of the reasons I never went to anybody about postpartum depression is because I struggled with fertility issues. Casey, your story is so important. You guys, Casey had fertility issues. We see this often. Someone has a fertility issue. There was one lady, I was listening to her story. She went through 8 rounds of IVF. So, and still had, her name is Dr. Leslie something. But if you look up Dr. Leslie on YouTube, she'll come up. She's awesome. I just found her by accident, and I was like, this lady's cool. And I reached out to her, and she got back to me and all. So let's see what happens there. But she shares her story about how she had 8 IVFs. Could you imagine? And then had postpartum depression. You guys, I couldn't imagine being Casey or Dr. Leslie, right? Like, here you have in your head already this like shame, fear, all this stuff, and then here you are, you wanted a baby this bad, and you're going to complain to somebody? Like, what? I'm not saying that's real. I'm saying that's what's going on in that thought process, right? Case, I'm sure that's what you were thinking. Like, oh, I wanted this kid so bad. How I can't, like they're going to think I'm really crazy. And even for yourself, I'm sure it's a whole realization that you have to come to, for the same reasons. It's the same thing with depression. When you're depressed, like, I think of a depressed teenager, when we go in and we tell that teenager, we're like, what the hell are you depressed about? You're in your bedroom right now, you have your own room, you're watching your 70-inch TV, you got your car outside, you're on the phone with your friends, you have internet. Like, what the hell are you depressed about? I promise you, when you leave the room, their depression gets worse, because now it's not only shitty enough to feel the symptoms of depression, but now you just reminded me that I am fortunate to have all these fortunes. Now I really feel like a piece of shit. See what I mean, you guys? And even if that parent, that grandparent, that friend meant to enlighten you in some way, like they didn't mean it to make you feel worse, it still can. So just be careful, because just because a person wanted this baby so bad, or just because a person has a house, a car, all these things, that doesn't mean that they can't experience a chemical imbalance or an imbalance in the body, the brain, that results in symptomology that could be very distressing, and when not treated can get worse, right? Let's see what you're saying. Welcome in, you guys. I love that there's people that are still so interested in the topic. Mother Earth says, let's see what Mother Earth said. Anyone remember how badly Britney Spears was treated when she had postpartum depression? Matt Lauer vilified her in an interview, crying pregnant in 2007. The VMAs, they called her children little mistakes. I forgot about that. No. Oh wait, Mother Earth says, I can't accept gift memberships because YouTube labels me as a brand account. Huh. That's weird though, Mother Earth, because wouldn't mine be that, because I'm a content creator and I could still get gifted memberships? Mother Earth, go on your, I don't know, I'm going to give you the wrong instructions by accident, but If Harlot, I don't know if like you should have that like somewhere where you could just copy and paste because you give the best instructions. But Mother Oats, make sure that it's turned on, because for a while there, I swore mine was turned on, and I don't know if it updated, turned on, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't turned on for like the longest time. So sometimes you just have to go in and see. But that would be weird. I would contact them. JC says, as much therapy can be valuable, so can talking with a friend sometimes. Absolutely, JC. So we need friends, family, support. Absolutely. I think the thing that the therapist can provide is that baseline and the training to recognize a shift in baseline in you. So as a family member or somebody, if you're going through something with somebody, we don't often notice the shift in baseline because of experiencing it and becoming used to it. You know what I'm thinking of? Real quick, to give you an example, think about you lose 20 pounds and nobody in your family recognized it. Not one person has said a word to you. But you go out to like a wedding or something and everyone is like, oh my God, did you lose weight? That's what I'm talking about. So sometimes when you're living with it, and you're part of that system, meaning like you're part of that person's life, their experiences, you might not see it as clearly as if you see it from the outside. Now, I will say this. You could be extremely close to somebody like their husband, their best friend, and they not tell you because they're afraid that their psychosis may have consequences that they're not willing to expose themselves to. And I can't say that I blame them. As a young mom, you know what I mean? I mean, most women, we're in our 20s, 30s having kids. You only have so much experience by that point. We live in a society where somebody like Charlie Sheen can do anything with zero consequence. How weird is that? That you just said that. And I just said about consequences at the same time. But if a woman breathes the wrong way, it's a one-way ticket to the Salem witch trial. Remember that? Remember the float test that they used to give? If you were accused of being a witch, they threw you in the water. What was it? They threw you in the water. Was it with chains? And if you floated to the top, you weren't a witch. But if you sunk, you were. Whatever it was, either way, you were dead. Just saying. Let's see. Yes, Casey, now you feel guilty AF, right? So talking about what I was saying, you want this baby so bad, and now all of a sudden you're having these symptoms of depression. And I mean, you're already feeling afraid, not you personally, in general. You're already feeling afraid, stuff like that. So now you must have that extra worry that not only are people going to perceive me as A, B, and C, but now X, Y, and Z on top of it, because they're going to be like, that bitch wanted this baby for 7 years, or this woman went through 8 IVFs, and now she's going to complain because isn't that what people say? She's going to complain. Like, come on. We need to do better. Let's see. JC says, it kind of makes sense to me after such a struggle to conceive and finally succeeding. It could result in depression, but I'm not sure I can explain it. I just know what it is to be depressed. JC, thank you for being brave and sharing that. I don't know if we should say fortunately or unfortunately, met a bunch of people who can relate to that. So again, it's like the good news and the bad news all wrapped in one. But, thank you for sharing that with us. It takes a lot to be vulnerable, especially in a world where you're not sure how other people are going to receive it on the other end. So I encourage you to continue to be brave. And, if or when you meet someone in the road that's an asshole, like I did, let's say, which, we all know what happened, you just say, I'll pray for you, and you move on. And that's it. Don't worry about what those people have to say. So YouTube says, plus every generation is dealing with a whole different set of pressure and problems. Isn't that the truth? Kay Miller says, this conversation is so helpful and refreshing. Kay Miller, you are so helpful and refreshing. YouTube ad actors, no, you have to choose to be a brand account, but you can unbrand yourself, Mother Earth. So that's good to know. Travis says, what's the difference between postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis? I am so glad you asked. Travis, they're completely different. So postpartum depression, you're going to have those symptoms of depression, like sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, so sleep disturbances, eating disturbances, disturbances in your mood, so on and so forth. I think you know most of the symptoms of depression, right? Psychosis is very different. So with psychosis, we have thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and we have a change in people are experiencing sensations that aren't there. So, and this isn't, so Travis, if I said to you right now, like, oh, think about a time when your mom said to you, da 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 da, and you literally can picture yourself in your head as a little kid and your mom saying that to you. That is a thought, right? That was a produced thought in, because I asked you to think about a time when da da da. So you were able to produce that thought. This is different in the sense that this person has a real sensory experience. So they really hear something, they really see something. The brain scans, if you do the research, brain scans support that they really are having a sensory experience. The thing is that, so now they're questioning reality altogether. If you go back and listen to the woman's story that I had on tonight, I think that a lot of people were like, wow, because I mean, this woman, when you look at her, she looks so put together, right? She's organized, she's this, she's that, she's a great mom. So to hear that she had these experiences are like, wow. And I'm so grateful that she was willing to share her story. But let me just teach you real quick, not teach you, but like, you're asking, so that's why I say teach you. That's what I meant. So about intrusive thoughts versus psychosis, because there is a difference. So you can have an intrusive thought that's like, oh, I don't know if you're a good mom. I don't know if you're being a good mom. Maybe you're not doing good enough. Maybe, how do we know if my kid's happy? Like, that's an intrusive thought, right? That's different than psychosis. So I want to clarify something. Well, Katherine even mentions it because people online often throw words around like they're interchangeable, and they're not. So an intrusive thought can be horrifying and completely unwanted. You don't want, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want this intrusive thought. A mother might think, like I said, what if I drop the baby? What, they might become terrified because she doesn't want that to happen. So she recognizes that it's a disturbing thought. She knows that it's a disturbing thought. Psychosis is different when the disturbance involves reality testing. So for example, this is totally hypothetical, you guys, but let's say someone sincerely believes my baby is possessed and I've been chosen to save him. That person may be experiencing a belief as a reality. Those are not the same psychological processes. So every time someone says Lindsay had intrusive thoughts, my next question is, what kind? Did she believe them? Did she fear them? Did she reject them, act on them, interpret them as external commands? Were they obsessive? Were they delusional, depressive? This is all context that is so important, because the label alone isn't going to solve this. So what really matters to me, I'm looking at things like evaluating the mental state argument. So this is what I want to see, right? So contemporaneous documents, obviously. I want to hear from the clinicians. I want to, see whatever treatment notes are specifically helpful for people to determine whether she did experience psychosis. Were there behavioral changes? What were the specific symptoms that she described, the timing of them, so did it get worse over time? What Lindsay herself reported, we have part of that from her journals. What Patrick observed, which he's testified to. What family members observed, which many, family and friends have testified, and all of them have said that she was a wonderful mother so far. Nobody has come out and said that she was a terrible person, a bad mom. I think of, and God forgive me, but think of like when we talked about truth, when we talked about Top Mom, you guys, truth exposed. Well, no, let's turn it around. Casey Anthony looks like truth exposed. It's strange. They look awfully similar, like so similar that you might ID them to make sure. Like that's how similar. Anyway, when we talked about, I said Top Mom, that's what Nancy Grace called her. When we talk about Casey Anthony, think of all the things, all the bad things people said about her. Mackenzie Shirella, think of all the things, right, that the people say. Brian Koberger, think of all the things. I've Glenn's in here, forgive me, Glenn. But you guys get the point. We don't hear any of that with this case. I've heard nothing from anyone saying that she was a terrible person, you know what I mean, or that she was a bad mom or a bad wife. Nothing. So, and something I've learned that I'm interested in seeing, I don't know if we've seen it yet. I'm going to have to go back and reread some of these after, because I'll be here all night if I go back. I do apologize. Oh, good, you're telling Mother Earth how to do that. Okay, that's good. So then I didn't miss too much there. Let's see. Harlot says, I will never be the same. I will never be the same again. You are damaged. You will never be the same. Your only option is to die. Is that what she was hearing? Oh, some of Lindsay's intrusive thoughts. Thank you. Harlot, I almost said call me. Oh, well, at least you know I'm here for you if you need it. But they were her intrusive thoughts. But do you guys see that there's a difference, though, between I will never be me again, I'm damaged, all those things, and my thing is don't even put that into the universe about yourself. Don't even put that out there. As YouTube ad actor says, she was trying to be a super mom. Don't we all, right? I have 45 jobs. I'm a mother of 2. I'm a wife. Let's be honest, I'm the only one that really does the laundry. Although my kids will throw it in, but then they walk away. So if I don't finish it, forget it. You guys saw the one night on the live, I had to have Gian. I was like, oh, go put it back in, and then I'll finish it for, oh my God. But do you know what I mean? So a lot of us try to be, super mom or super dad, things like that. And a big part of that is because that's what society expects from us. It's like there's no room for vulnerability or to be, or to just chill sometimes, you guys. Just chill. Just have a day. It's okay. Harlot said she ran 5K marathon weeks after giving birth to her second child. So that just says to me too, there's like a perfectionism, right? Like she had expectations. There you go, that's the word. She had expectations, and sometimes our expectations, including my own sometimes, right, are so far, not that they're out of reach, but they're like, what's the word I'm looking for? Disproportionate to the anxiety that I feel in that moment. So what makes that different is because I know that in that moment. That's an intrusive thought. With psychosis, you're having a sensory experience, which is very different. So Ella, I'm so glad you just said that, because I started to say that and then went sideways and forgot. So Ella says, it seems religious-based psychosis is the worst. So like when there's God-like or God instructing you, that part of the brain that believes without proof of existence. Ella, I like how you said that. Oh my God, I'm reading that. I like how you said that part. The part of the brain that believes without proof of existence. That's interesting, Ella, because you're right. So, oh, Ella, not that I didn't think of that part before, the way you just said that though, just put a biology part to it, a biological part to it. So like you said, the part of the brain, and this is the thing, so, and it depends on which theory you're talking about, or like which part of development, whatever. So let's say I was talking about like human development, like Piaget stages of cognitive development. So some people make it to formal operational thinking, and some people remain concrete operational thinkers. I could give you all a test right now if you want to know what you are. Anyone interested? And again, this is just for fun. This isn't really a test. Like, we're not even in person. I don't know the context. There's so much nuance. But if you were reading a psychology textbook in development right now, they would probably, most of them, if not all, would give you this so that you get it. So let's say, now remember, you have to listen to me specifically. Oh my God, Ella, you're a psychologist? Well, what the frig haven't you ever told us for? Ella, I love that. Hey, queen. We have another queen in the house. We have lots of queens in the house. All right, ready? You ready? You guys ready? All right, here we go. And again, this is for entertainment purposes, not clinical academic purposes. You guys, just real quick side note, you know how I always say, I'm not diagnosing, da, 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 da. That's because of that thing earlier, that person. That's why I say all that shit. Because there's always that one person. Anyway, here's the test. And again, this is an entertainment test only. We are now concluding the part of the conversation, I guess, about Lindsay Clancy, because, or at least that part of my, like, I concluded the things that I wanted to make sure that we said, and then I'm going to give you guys your just for fun test. All right, here we go. Now remember, we're playing a game, and I'm not just saying that for like I'm literally stepping into it now. So if we were in class, I would tell you this. I would be like, hey guys, want to play a game? Okay, so let's play a game. Now, we all know that games have rules, right? So games have rules. The first rule of this game, you listening? The first rule of the game is that a hammer breaks a glass. That's the first rule. A hammer breaks a glass. So, in this next part of the game, if I hit a glass with a hammer in the game, what's going to happen? I'll give you a second to answer. It's not a trick question. So again, rule 1, a hammer breaks a glass. So if I hit the glass with a hammer, what happens? Okay, time's up. It breaks. Okay? That wasn't a trick question. No trick question. Okay. So if you said the glass breaks, you're doing great. Ready for rule 2? Rule 2. Yes, the glass breaks, Harley. You got it. Ready for rule 2? You listening? Rule 2. If I hit a glass with a feather, the glass breaks. So rule 2, if I hit a glass with a feather, the glass breaks. So now I hit the glass with a feather. What happens? Hey, Wendy. Hey. Oh, well, Wendy, thank you for sharing that. So I'm giving you guys a second to answer. So again, rule 2, a feather breaks a glass. If I hit the glass with the feather, what happens? Jenny says it breaks. YouTube Bad Actor says it doesn't break. Joanne doesn't break. Harlot doesn't break. Anyone else? Kay Miller, the glass goes everywhere, so it breaks. Let's see. Anyone else want to answer before I tell you? So, I'm actually a little bit surprised. Wendy, it doesn't break. Okay. You guys, this is so interesting. Now, I will tell you something else before I tell you the point of that or whatever and how we decipher. So this isn't the only thing I would use. However, if what I say makes sense, it would be interesting for you to tell me. So the glass breaks, you guys. The glass breaks. So I think there was like 2 people. Jenny says the glass breaks. Who else? Kay Miller said the glass goes everywhere, so the glass broke. I think that was it. I think everyone else said it didn't break. So let me tell you what the point of that is. So Jenny said, yay, I'm so excited. Jenny, what if I told you that you were like, I don't know, different or something? No, I'm just joking, you're not. So whether you said the glass broke or not, it doesn't matter. So it's not about whether you're concrete operational or a former operational thinker. For me, it's about knowing what kind of thinker you are and knowing what others around you are. Because if you know, and I'm going to tell you the difference real quick, but if you know, I promise you life is so much easier. So, and I'll give me and my mom as an example, because I am a formal operational thinker by far, and my mom is a concrete operational thinker. And again, one is not inherently smarter than the other. It's nothing like that. And I wouldn't just use this one test, especially like I said, we're not even in front of each other. So this one little thing here literally was just for fun. Another good way to find out before I tell you what it means, if you're formal operational or concrete operational, give somebody a hypothetical that would be offensive to them and see if they can answer it. It's literally that simple. That's what I just did with the glass breaks thing, right? I gave you a hypothetical that violates expectations. A feather, break a glass, like that doesn't make sense. That would be a violation of my expectations. I even said we're playing a game. And in the game, I gave you rule 1 and told you what happened. Gave you rule 2, and it still didn't break for most of you. So that's just, so I'm wondering if I gave you a hypothetical, and again, this is just one, small side test, not even a test. I don't even hate to use that word because I don't want someone to be like, oh, she's giving psychological testing, because that's not what this is at all. It's literally in like the textbooks. But let me tell you why, and then you guys tell me if you think it was a good example for, psychology to be using in a classroom type thing to teach us. So according to Piaget, we go through stages of cognitive development. We are not going to go over all of the stages, but first there's the sensory motor stage. That's from 0 to 2. During that time, and when we talk about cognitive development, we're talking about the thought process. So this is the development of the thought process. So from 0 to 2, we're in the sensory motor stage. So during that time, we use our senses in order to move. Okay, so it's that easy. We use our senses in order to move. And when I say move, literally movements to get things that you need. So crawling, walking, knocking something over to get your binky type thing. Like literally using your sensory information to get the job done, to move and get through the world. Then we go to pre-operations. Pre-operations is, and again, these are approximations, approximately from 2 to 7. So during this time, you have an inability to reverse actions mentally. So if you were to give, and this is fascinating and works, I literally was like, my niece is never gonna fall for this type thing, and she did. It works. So if you have a kid between, I would say more like 4 and 6, but they say it goes up to 7. The biggest criticism about Piaget's stages is that we think that the kids get to these stages a little bit sooner than what he thought. But to me, if that's like the biggest criticism, you know what I mean? That could be like advances in technology. Like there's many reasons that could be. So again, if you have a kid between like 4 and 6, I want you to try this. It's so cool. So get 2 glasses of water, or anything, whatever, 2 glasses of water, let's say, and you want to fill them to the same line. Get glasses that like you could see through so that they could see. If you have food coloring and you want to put a little bit in to make it cool, whatever you want to do, but you just want 2 glasses, same glasses, so you want them to be the same, and you want to fill them up to the exact same thing. Then you ask the kid, do these 2 have the same, or does one have more than the other? They'll look at it and they'll say they're the same. Okay. Then you get a glass that's a different shape, preferably if you have like a taller, thinner glass, and right in front of them. You don't tell them to close their eyes. You don't do it behind their back. You don't have a pre-one done. You literally do it right in front of their face. You pick the one up, you pour it into the other glass, and now you have 2 different glasses. One should be like taller and thinner, and one's the original glass. And you put them in front of the kid and you say, just ask the exact same question. Does this have more water? Does this have more water? Or do they both have the same? And if your kid's in pre-operations, they look at you like you're a fucking idiot. And they're like, that one has more. And you're like, well, why does that one have more? And they'll say, because it's taller. Okay. Why weren't they able to rewind 2 seconds ago and be like, you just poured that from that glass to that glass. It didn't change. You just put it in something different. When you get to concrete operations, which is that next stage from 7 to 11, you will look at the person like an idiot and be like, it's the same thing. You just put it in a different cup. But it's that different, right? So our brain changes that dramatically. So in one stage, you get it. The stage before pre-operations, you can't reverse actions yet. Your brain is not developed enough yet. So you can't hit rewind. And therefore, every question you're asking becomes a new question, a new problem for that kid. Another cool one you could do, get 10 quarters or whatever, just 10 of the same coin. So let's say you have 10 quarters, you put 5 and 5, put them right in front, like right in front of each other, a row of 5, a row of 5, and say to the kid, does this row have more quarters? Does this row have more quarters? Or do they have the same? And the kid, most kids will know how to count by this time. They'll count them for you. You'll be thinking in your head, there is no way this kid's going to fall for this. And they do. So they'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're the same. Okay. Then you don't tell them to close their eyes. Don't tell them to turn nothing right in front of their face. I want you to get the one row and just space it out more. You know what I mean? Make it a little longer. And then you say to the kid, does this row have more quarters? Does this row have more quarters? Or do they have the same? And the kid in pre-operations is going to tell you, like you're an idiot, that that row has more quarters. And when you ask why, they're going to say because it's bigger, it's longer. And you're going to think in your head, what the? You just counted. It's fascinating. But they can't rewind. So they can't rewind and be like, oh, you just spread them out a little bit, but they're still the same amount. It's fascinating. So if you have a kid within that age group that you have access to, there's a few of these that you could do. That was just 2 of them. You could do something as simple as, like, let's say you don't even have, like, you don't have the ability to, like, set up an experiment right now, but you'd love to try it. Just get 2 pencils or, like, 2 pens that are the same length. Put them next to each other. Say, is this pen longer? Is this pen longer? Or are they the same? The kid will say they're the same. Then push 1 pen forward. So first they're like this, then push 1 forward and say, does this pen longer, is this pen longer, or are they the same? And the kid in pre-operations is going to say this one's longer. It's the weirdest thing. I can't even. It's so interesting. So interesting. Anyway, get to let me keep going so you guys know what I meant by the other one, and I will make it quicker this time. Everything that you can't do in pre-operations, you can do in concrete operations. There's sub-stages in all of these 4 sections, and because we're not here for a psychology class that nobody signed up for, I won't go into all the sub-stages, but everything from, like, you know, conservation and seriation and transitivity. I mean, we could just go on for days, but I'm not going to do that to you. So let's keep going. And concrete operations, develops approximately 7 to 11, but for many people, you know what I mean? It just, that's how you continue to think. So you continue to think in concrete operations. In concrete operations, you have the ability to reverse actions. You have all the abilities that you didn't have before. The difference between that and formal operations, which develops at approximately age 11 into adulthood, is abstract, hypothetical, deductive reasoning. So most of you here are concrete operational thinkers, and that to me is the important thing, right? So some people just don't have, they don't see things in hypotheticals the same way other people do. What I said earlier about give somebody a hypothetical that would like be offensive to their thought process and see if they'll answer you. Let me give you an example. Let's say you just gave birth, and I was like, oh, Casey didn't just give birth, I'm just using an example. Oh, Case, she's so cute, Case. Oh, what about when she's 21? She wants to be a sex worker, like, you know. Casey might look at me like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, what? She's a month old. Relax. But if I'm like, no, really, like, what if when she's 21, that's what she wants to do? If in that moment, even though that's a highly offensive hypothetical, if the person can answer it, even if they're like, I'd kick her ass, that's still a response, right? So if they can respond to it, so if they could put themselves in the hypothetical and respond, chances are you're a formal operational thinker. So even if you failed my test earlier, and again, a big part of that is it's easier for me to determine if somebody is a concrete or a formal operational thinker just by having a conversation with them. When you tell somebody that you're giving them like a fun test or whatever, I feel like automatically that biases it, because now people might answer or not answer in a certain way. Like there's a bunch of you that might have been like, I was going to say it breaks, but it doesn't really break in reality, so I didn't want people to think I was stupid. Like, you know, so many people say different things, which is why I'm saying that wouldn't be enough just for one thing. But if you found that you said that the glass doesn't break, and if you were Casey in the situation I gave in the hypothetical, if you had an inability to answer me about that, and you were like, and what do I mean by not answer me? The person, it would look like, what? My daughter wouldn't do that. Okay, but what if she wants to? Like, what if she tells you later that's what she wants? She doesn't want to go to college. That's what she wants to do. If the person's like, okay, but that's not going to happen. Okay, but what if it does? But it's not going to happen. So that's just not going to, like, that doesn't even make any sense. That wouldn't happen. Like that. That's what I mean by they can't answer. So if the person can't put themselves in the hypothetical, that's offensive to their thought. And then always make sure you end it by telling them that this was just a psychic, you know, your own little social experiment that you did, so that you don't get like punched in the face. You know what I mean? Hey, Andrea. What does it mean if you answer both ways like I did? So Harlot, I would say that you did exactly what I was saying before. So what's up, Melissa? So I think you probably did what I was saying. So in your head, you're like, okay, she said that the rule is the feather breaks a glass, so the glass breaks, but we're on YouTube with a bunch of people listening and watching. So if I say the glass breaks, am I going to look like an idiot because it's a feather? So much so, Harlot, that my mother down the shore, I was proving a point to my siblings, and we're all very formal operational thinkers. My mother is not. However, I think this was like good for me to realize this in that moment, because she not only couldn't she get past the whole thing, by the end, like we were leaving to go home from the shore. This was like on like a Sunday, it was the afternoon. After dinner, before we left, she had to find a feather so she could show me that a feather definitely doesn't break a glass, and that I should reevaluate this fun test that I do with my students, because it's college and they pay a lot of money. I was like, what the frig? But then I laughed and I was like, that was probably the most concrete operational response to the entire thing, that she just like validated and verified for me everything I said to my siblings. And you know, when you have that moment amongst your siblings and you're like, told you, it was like one of those moments. We all looked at each other and we're cracking up laughing. She is such a concrete thinker that she had to show me that can't happen. Like, let me show you. I can't. So one of the things people will say is, if you're a concrete operational thinker, so if you have to like see it to believe it type thing, could you believe in something like God, right? So that part of your brain, that's how this all started. That's what that made me, that's how this all started in my brain. So the answer to that is yes. So for my mom very much believes in God. And if you were to question her, like, well, how do you know? She would again look at me like an idiot and be like, because of the Bible? Again, very concrete, operational. The Bible tells her, duh. It's like, can't you see it? And she'll look at me too, like, you're an idiot. Like what the like, what's wrong with you? She'll look at me like, Jesus, and you got your, I don't understand it. She literally told me and my siblings, she was like, I don't get it. We're like, we know. Oh, we know. I thought you were testing my logic. No. It's not your logic. So that's why I was saying, anybody that said the glass didn't break, I'm not saying that you're a concrete operational thinker or that you haven't made it to formal operations. And formal operations is, again, just saying that you could think in hypotheticals, you can do deductive reasoning, things like that. And you two bad actors, I know that you can do those things. Another thing I would say is a formal operational thinker, for example, let's say recycling, how me and my mom are very different. Let's say you didn't have to recycle where you were. I'm making this up. But let's say there's like no, there's no rule in your town or whatever. So when people recycle, it's just out of the goodness of their heart type thing, right? In that situation, let's say I see my mom throwing a bottle in the trash and I'm like, no, Mom, that goes in the recycles. And I like take it for her to put in. And she's like, oh, what are you doing? Nobody recycles. And you're like, well, I recycle. Like, what do you mean? And it might look at you like you're an idiot. Like, you're the only one that recycles on the block. Like, what are you doing? A formal operational thinker wouldn't think like that. They would think like, if there are 100,000 other people in the country right now that just grabbed a bottle from their mother to put into a disposable container somewhere, that's 100,000 of us recycling in that moment, not just one in the neighborhood. So where she sees it very concrete, like you're the only one, a formal operational person's thinking, although I'm the only one here doing it, there's probably 100,000 like me at the same time doing it in their own neighborhood. So that's all the difference is. So according to Jean Piaget, there are the 4 stages of cognitive development. I do believe in his theory and his developmental stages. Let's see. I pick everything apart. I missed the beginning of that. You guys are awesome. There's so many people still in here. I can't believe it. And you two bad actors, I'm not stupid enough to test your logic. You'll make a meme about me. You'll like catch me doing some dumb shit and meme it up. So don't you worry. You're good with me. You are logical. Let's see. Kids are scientists and they don't even know it. They really are. Not only are they scientists, we call it like one of the stages that they go through, and I'm not going to give you a whole nother stages of development. I'll wait till another night so that I don't do too much in one night. You know what I mean? But yeah, I forget what I was going to say because it's late. It was something about something we just said. Logic. Something like that is too nuanced to give a single answer to. My harlot, 100%, which is why I said 1,000 times, please nobody take this one thing. But can somebody see, like, if you did, because I'm sure there's somebody out there listening, that if you did say the glass didn't break and you were the person that couldn't put yourself in that hypothetical, I would say those, like, 2 out of 2, let's try for a third, but and again, what does it mean to be a concrete operational thinker? Nothing. It just means that, not that nothing, I don't mean it like that. I just mean my mom, it doesn't make her less smart than me, right? It just, we think differently, which is important because knowing that my mom and I think differently in that way, it really helped a lot with like just basic getting along every day. Hey, wise woman, thank you, queen. I love you. You have a love-hate relationship with Piaget. I'm dying to know why. I want to know why. Tell me why. What was I saying right before that? It was after that. Let's see. You do Wordle and Pips and Spelling Bee obsessively. You and me both. How do we share so I can like talking to you two bad actors? I love Pips. I haven't met anybody else that likes that game. So that's pretty cool. Harlot, thank you. I got a happy poop. Thank you. A wise woman, yours was a happy poop? It didn't. Thank you, you guys. Oh, Harlot, yours is a heart. So cute. Thank you, you guys. I do appreciate you. You love Pips. It's the first thing you do after Wordle. Me too. You know what else I like? I like the Connect. I like all the things. I like the Sudoku. My favorite one's the red one. What's the red one? Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I like, just in case you wanted to know, it's called Letterboxed. The one on the bottom. Letterboxed. I like that one. Thank you, Harlot. And this is Pips, you guys. Pips is like, you have to be a nerd to like this game. Like, literally. Yes! Oh my god, that's awesome. Thank you, Luna. Luna, you guys, did you hear that? So my thing still is doing dances. I guess it's just, I need to go in and change my settings. I haven't had a dance thing in a minute. That was fun. This is Pips. You really have to be a nerd. And this is like the easy one. Oh wait, hold on. So you have to put these little, what are they called? Like the, oh there you go, you can see it better like that. But you have to like, they turn all different directions and they all have one spot. They all have like a spot that they go, and I have to make sure that I do the easy one in less than a minute or I get mad at myself. Yes, the hiding guy, Harlot. Harlot, I missed it because I was looking at the dominoes. That's the word I was looking for. I was looking at the dominoes and I missed the hiding guy. Thank you. The dominoes. You can't see. That's all right. My bad. Ella. Ella, I see it now. You guys, the guy is kneeling with his head down. This whole time, what I saw, oh my God, look, there he goes. You guys, that whole time, what I saw was this. Like as if you were pinching. Now, I see it. He's cute. Thank you, Joanne. You guys, thank you. Thank you, Kay Miller. You guys are so cute. I love you. Thank you, Ella. Aww. There's a new New York Times crossplay. Let's do it. Kay Miller, thank you. All the little hiding guys, so cute, you guys. I really thought it was like pinching, like a hand pinching. I was so confused. And then I'm like, it can't be a hand pinching because the one finger's bent. Like his legs. I'm like, that's a pretty weird way to bend your finger. And I wonder why my mother says those things. Oh, jeez. Oh, you're good, Case. No problem. Case, I'm going to take your blow away. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. That was literally a joke. And thank you for helping me with modding tonight. This might have been the first time. I don't know if Truth is still here. Truth, are you still here? But we almost just had Harlot. So then we added Casey. Usually there's a bunch of us in here, which is fine. Nobody is mandated to. K. Miller. Corgi is so cute and 1,000 jewels. So you're gonna make me cry. Oh, thank you, K. Miller. You were so generous tonight. Thank you so much. Between this and gifting 20 memberships, like I said, I've never been gifted 20 memberships. So K. Miller, you are the first person to gift all those memberships. K. Miller. Oh, I was going to say, that was so weird. Your name wasn't green for a second. And I was like, wait a minute. You are green. Don't worry. You're good. K. Miller is the best. K. Miller, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate those of you who can't afford a dime and you still hit like. Okay? And if you have a social media and you share it, that is a step ahead of that. 1,000 jewels is $10. What? Oh my, oh, I just made the ugliest face. K. Miller, you want to marry me? Thank you. Wow. Holy crap. You're lovely. You're so lovely. Wow. Thank you for telling me, you two bad actors. I wish they would let us know somehow. You know what I mean? Wow. You know how I knew that it had to be like more like that? Because it comes up as a gift thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think I noticed with the wise woman, maybe it was the other day, something like that happened with like 5. I don't know what it was, but it came up too. But I don't know how to translate it. All I know is that 1 jewel makes my heart beat like extra. So, you know what I mean? Hiding guy to me is the embryo and the most satisfying way to comfort self. Oh, Ella, I get it. I had to read that twice, but I get what you're saying. So it's like somebody in the fetal position. Truth, you are here. You better tell her. Got a side bitch that has to come. Package deal. I don't make the rules. Wait, what was the first part? I guess that's why the little corgi danced in front of the chat like a minute. Oh, is that why? I love it. And truth, I don't have any side bitches. You're my main girl. You're my main squeeze. Yeah, we're still alive, Irony. Oh my God, Thor is going to be a... Meanwhile, the poor dog has to go out. I'm like, you asshole. Hold on 1 second, you guys. You guys are the best. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I need a drink and then I'll turn my thing on. Main bitch, you've not been promoted. You never were nothing but. So you demote it yourself. Because you were always the only, not the main. You are the only truth. Mimo. You're just stopping back through to say hi. Irony, I appreciate you. I said appreciate you. Oh, well, that's a problem, YouTube. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, well, what's going on, says Irony. The truth is just making sure that everyone knows that she was my first and only love of my life. Truth, there you go. I'm married, you guys. I'm just joking. Truth has been one of the bestest friends ever. So I do appreciate that. And irony, you returned at just the right time. Side pieces, package deals, smoke on the side by accident. You got all the things. You feel the warm and fuzzies? Oh, well, that's good. You should. All right, you guys, we've been live for a minute. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. But because this is the thing, once we wrap it up here, I go over to Discord usually and catch up with you guys over there too. So you guys should go over there. Where is Cuff You? I don't know. I don't know. True says she's married to my brother. It's complicated. That's so funny. So I don't know. It was crazy. So when we started, Harlot was the only mod in here for like ever. And then I added Casey and then Truth came in. And I don't know where Cuff You went. So I don't know. Hopefully she's okay. She's been crazy busy since her grandkids moved. That's absolutely true. That's what I thought. That's why I didn't text her. So I don't know if Cuff You rewatches any of these or if she even makes it to the end. But Cuff You, if you make it this far, you were missed. And I didn't text you because I just assumed that with your grandkids being in, that you might be tired and you deserve to rest. So there you go. Yeah, hopefully that's what it was. Did someone just send me jewels? Joanne, thank you, Queen. Wow, thank you. I'm feeling the warm and fuzzies. Okay, you guys, so thank you especially to the mods, all of the family members here, and especially all of you, Ivy, all of you. I mean, there were so many of you that were so very generous. Joanne K. Miller, wow, thank you. Wise Woman, all you guys, just amazing. I can't even. And then Joanne, thank you for your membership. K. Miller, thank you for your membership. Not only your membership, but you're a pattern seeker. I think there's like 3 of you. So welcome to the elite. And thank you so much for letting 20 other people become part of the family where we put the fun in dysfunctional. I'm also, oh my God, YouTube Bad Actors is still thinking about the formal operational. And that's hysterical. YouTube Bad Actors, there was never a thought, and like I agree, you're a formal operational thinker for sure. Good night, Dr. Vona in chat. Oh, good night, Irony. Make sure you come back. Thank you, Casey. And Irony, if you see Crop before I do, just let him know. I was just joking. He could come back at me. I could take it. I got girlfriends and shit on the side. I can take a little talk, you know? I know I've progressed since age 11. YouTube Bad Actors, I'm actually glad you said that. So before I hang up real quick, just so you guys know, if you are a concrete operational thinker, it does not mean that you haven't advanced since 11. So I'm actually glad that YouTube Bad Actors said that, because I don't want anybody to think that. That's not what it means at all. If anything, it means that your brain's not developed enough to get to that next stage as far as like pre-operations to concrete operations. You can't reverse action, so on and so forth. See it more that way, and there's nothing wrong with being a concrete operational thinker at all. Again, it doesn't make anybody less smart. I think it's funny that YouTube Bad Actors is still thinking about it. I'm expecting a meme or whatever it's called, a GIF or whatever of myself soon, I'm sure, for this. I'm sure I tortured you in some way that you'll get me back, but I love you, right? That's what we do here. All right, you guys. You're a Virgo, are you? What sign are people? I'm a Cancer. Us Cancers are pretty damn cool. Anybody else a Cancer in here? Make a wish. We have a Virgo. Oh my God. Tomorrow, you guys, is my girlfriend's birthday. Truth, I almost just had a heart attack because I just for 1 second was like, you're the worst friend ever. It's Truth's birthday. But it's not. This time tomorrow, different story. Oh my God, I just had a heart attack. That would have been typical, right? Forgetting your girl's birthday and shit. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have done that, don't worry. But anyway, Truth's birthday is tomorrow, you guys. Well, tomorrow, today, it depends on how you look at it. I guess if you're on the West Coast, it's not tomorrow yet. So her birthday's the 11th. So we're gonna have to make sure that we give her a happy birthday. There you go, girl. All right, you guys, I love you all. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please join me again. If you haven't hit like or subscribe, please do so. If you could share this on a social media, something. Tell your grandma, your mom, your brother. I don't give a shit. Tell someone. That would be amazing. I appreciate y'all. Okay? Okay. It's your best friend's birthday on the 11th, too. There you go. Well, happy early birthday, Truth. But we'll definitely make sure we say it on the 11th as well. She's a Leo, go figure, said you two bad actors. I thought the same thing. I'm just kidding. You're telling the world, Kay Miller, we're going to be besties, I could tell. Truth, can you believe Sarah got a membership earlier from Kay Miller? Wait till I tell Cuff you. Oh, God. Anyway, thank you again, you guys. I love you all. Have a beautiful night, and I'll see you soon. Good night, you guys.